sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Really commend President Trump and his administration, as well as Arab leaders in the region, for making the commitment to the 20-point plan and seeing a path forward for what's often called the day after. Most importantly, the conflict hopefully will end with the...
So Hillary Clinton there delivering a little bit of an acknowledgement to President Trump for his efforts to bring peace. You've seen multiple people that are not traditionally out there speaking on behalf of the accolades of Donald Trump, not traditionally commending the president for his efforts. They're speaking up. Several people are speaking up, and they're not actually even naming Donald Trump. But the truth of the matter is everybody knows who is responsible for shepherding this across the finish line, at least until this point, and the credit goes to President Trump. The videos that are coming out of this event yesterday while the president was in the Middle East, making this official, flanked by world leaders on his left, on his right, behind him, just watching the different exchanges that he has had with these leaders. That apparently President Trump shook hands with Emmanuel Macron for 26 seconds, and it looked like Macron on at least 3 separate occasions tried to abort the handshake, but couldn't do it because Donald Trump was overpowering him in that instance. The YouTube live chat poll for today on the Annie Fry YouTube channel: among United States presidents, how great is President Donald Trump? So just from the beginning, for the folks out there who can't stand the man, the last option is that he's not great. So you could come tell us that you think President Trump is not great. And I know for some of you, it's very important you have that opportunity. For the rest of us, how great do you think President Donald Trump is? Is he the best president in United States history? Is he America's best president? Do you think he's top 5, top 10? Or, of course, you can vote not great. Remember, we're like 9 months, 10 months into, 9 months into this presidency. We're coming up on that, just short of a week of 9 months into this presidency, second term. And you got to think of the accomplishments that he's had in this amount of time, the things that he campaigned on, that he's followed through on. It's been an incredible jumpstart. It's been an incredible, I really think like political game plan and saying exactly what you're going to do, giving the American people the opportunity to say, I like that plan. And then watching the president go in and follow through on the promises that are made. Yes, the phrase is promises made, promises kept. But in this amount of time, we have not seen the Democrats step into the moment and really offer an alternative. And at this point in time, if you would have heard, let's just say, what was election day November 5th last year? I think it was November 5th. It's the 3rd, the 5th, or the 8th. I can never remember. Let's just say it was November 15th of last year. Donald Trump has won all of the swing states. You found out he won the popular vote. It really was a sweep of an election for Donald Trump. What if I would have told you that on Tuesday, October 14th, not even a whole year after that election had occurred, what if I would have told you that Hillary Clinton would have been congratulating Donald Trump on achieving a peace deal between the Jews and the Arabs? What if I would have told you that? Would you believe me? You'd have to think to yourself, what do we go through to get to that? Not even a year in? And that doesn't have anything to do with what the president has been able to do on the home front, what the president has been working to do to secure the border, which was, good grief, a day one, week one plan. He just basically said, enforce the laws that are on the books. The president, through executive action, was able to assume the office of the presidency, taking the oath of office. And then remember, they went on a mini tour of different locations throughout Washington, D.C., signing executive orders. And that's when the world really got to know Will Scharf. Do you remember that? Will Scharf enters the scene. And I remember watching all of this happen. And we're in here covering election day, inauguration day, it was a holiday. Wasn't that Martin Luther King Jr. Day? And we're like, no way in heck we're staying home for that. We'll be here. And we're watching, and all of a sudden we're like, well, that's our guy. We know him. More importantly, he knows who we are. That's amazing. And then he becomes the narrator for all of these day one executive actions, and he's been doing it ever since. 9 months later, a peace plan is in place and the world has come together. Jim Carafano will be with us at 1 o'clock. I mean, I hesitate to even ask him a question and box him in when he joins us at about 1:05. I just want to be like, Jim, peace? Question mark? Go. But here's the deeper question that I want to know from Jim Carafano, because the jockeying that is taking place, the partnerships, the handshakes, the 20-second long handshakes that are taking place, the ones between, the United States and France, the ones where France cannot let go. They can't get out of the handshake. They don't know how to do it. That's kind of a metaphor for a lot of what's going on here. But also unlikely partners, people who we didn't expect to be a part of these conversations, who really on the whole have to be a part of these conversations in order for peace to actually take place, for it to actually manifest into something that is long lasting. You have to understand that the president was willing to have conversations with people who world leaders, or at least American presidents of both parties in the past, would not have been willing to have those conversations. There's something about the art of the deal. There's something about what President Trump is skilled at that we thought would be good about business. Oh, he's a real estate broker. He knows how to do business. The application of that skill to negotiating with people when you have a common goal that you want to achieve. It's not about who does the best politics. It's not about who does the best campaign ads, the best spin. Aren't you all done with spin? Aren't we all so done with spin? So when Jim Carafano comes on with us at 1:05 in less than an hour, the question that I really want to know, of all those parties that were present over this past weekend, but specifically yesterday, as I'm watching these world leaders talk to President Trump, he was a force with his own gravitational pull this entire weekend. Wherever he was, people wanted to be. They just gravitate towards him. Where's Russia? Where's China? How do these forces, economically, militarily, how do these powerful forces that are not included in discussions about peace? Look at everybody here wants peace. What about you guys, China? How about you, Russia? The United States has been a willing participant in negotiating for peace anywhere that peace can be achieved, to the extent that the wars that were settled, some of them, most of us have never even heard of these wars before, but yet people are dying and being slaughtered in these other countries. And in the midst of that, because it's not high profile enough, the American people aren't talking about it. But Donald Trump finds a way to negotiate peace, and he's been trying to do it between Vladimir Putin and Zelensky for some time. Zelensky hasn't always been agreeable to Trump, but that sure has come around. Vladimir Putin hasn't always been agreeable to Donald Trump, but they've had conversations. How is it that peace in the Middle East was more achievable than Putin doing what Donald Trump wants him to do, doing what needs to be done to end the bloodshed in his country, of his countrymen, of course, Ukrainian men and women and civilians alike? Russia, where are you at? It's probably getting pretty lonely on the side of the fence that wants war versus the side of the fence that now sees that peace is a possibility, if not a probability, when you have willing participants, willing parties who can sit down and talk like grown-ups and find out some sort of agreeable future where we can actually be more prosperous together with our handshake for peace. I want to know from Jim Carafano at 1:05. All this, like, there was just like an emanating love fest yesterday. You couldn't get away from it. Watching these hostages be embraced by their loved ones rips your heart out. To hear the emotion in these embraces and to know that there are bodies coming back who don't get to enjoy. that embrace. There are families who don't get to enjoy that embrace. But the hostages returning, we get to see the reunification of those people. And it's because Donald Trump, along with all of these other necessary parties, have come together to make this a possibility. What is it about Donald Trump that makes this such a possibility? What is it about Donald Trump that encourages parties to say, yeah, I think maybe this will work. This will work if you help us.
I get along with the tough ones. I don't get along with the weak ones. I get along with the tough ones. I don't know what that is, but Erdogan's been great with me. You know, when NATO has a problem with Erdogan, which they often do, they call me to talk to him. And I've never failed in working it out like immediately. Is that right?
He says he gets along with the tough ones. The problem that he has is with the weak ones. And these leaders of these other countries, they're tough leaders. And there's an existence that they've lived in, a reality that they've lived in for so long that is steeped in war and death and destruction. It's a perpetuity of reality for these other countries. And Donald Trump comes along and offers them maybe something a little different. What happens when Donald Trump isn't there any longer? What happens when our strong leader isn't there any longer? He says he gets along with the strong ones. It's the weak ones that he doesn't deal well with. Joe Biden was weak. Kamala Harris was weak. They didn't not only not deal well with them, they just chose not to. And look what happened. This peace is fragile. It will need to be fed. It will need to be nurtured by strength. And American strength is what is back. And that is what has helped negotiate the necessary parties to participate, to agree to this moment. The necessary parties to come together through mediation by Donald Trump to make this peace possible. And now it must be nurtured. It has to be followed through with, and we will watch it carefully to ensure that it does. Will Chamberlain joins us when we come back. Will Chamberlain's going to update us on Letitia James, who was indicted last week. And hopefully we're going to talk a little bit about Chicago as well. There are a lot of lawsuits that have been levied against the administration trying to keep the feds from doing their job in the state of Illinois. J.B. Pritzker somehow or another thinks that he's going to win this one. Or maybe it's just for the news headlines that he's fighting back. He just wants to be seen as a fighter. Will Chamberlain is a fighter, and he's a senior counsel at the Article 3 Project, and he's with us next. Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the Bagel Loan guy. I am a two-time customer myself of the Bagel Loan. You can get a new mortgage with a new home purchase with Stewie. So if you want to talk to Stewie, you can call him. You can text him directly. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan as well. But if you're looking for a brand new mortgage, if you're looking for a mortgage refinance, the key to understanding why the Bagel Loan is so successful and so good for you, and was certainly good for me and why I did it twice, is that there are no closing costs. So I refied twice when rates were coming down. Original purchase of my home in 2015. I think I refied in 2019 and again in 2020. And I got a beautiful rate that starts with the number 2. And I did that the second time with a cash out refinance to help fix the deck on my home. Maybe you have home renovations. Maybe you have some debt to pay down. Maybe you've got an investment you need to make. Have Stewie help you with a Bagel Loan refinance or for that new purchase. Get your mortgage from Stewie. Get a Bagel Loan. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When you work with a home improvement company, you want to make sure they are recognized as one of the best. Mark Cox here from my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They just received the Big 50 Award. That's featured in Remodeling Magazine to honor the top 50 remodelers in the country, to recognize the industry's best and brightest. Now, a little bit about Chesterfield Fence. They've been around for 56 years, since 1968. Under the same ownership. You're invited to their showroom in the Chesterfield Valley, or they'll be happy to come to your house, give you a free in-home estimate at absolutely no obligation. If you want a new pergola, you want a new sunroom, of course, the fences and decks that they have are outstanding, and they will design them to your specifications in your backyard. Now, right now, mention Mark Cox, get a special discount of 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Check them out online and tell them Mark sent you. It's chesterfieldfence.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, we don't want, kangaroo courts and trumped up charges. That's what happens in other places that we used to scold for doing that. We want like our court system and our Justice Department and our prosecutors to be, and our FBI to be just playing things straight and looking at the facts and not meddling in politics the way we've seen lately.
Okay, President Obama. I agree. I mean, it's hard to disagree with that, but the hypocrisy drips a little bit too thick, doesn't it? Let's ask our friend Will Chamberlain to come back on with us. Senior counsel at the Article 3 Project on X, a must follow at Will Chamberlain, article3project.org. Will, I don't know how much of that Barack Obama podcast, I don't know if you're it's a must listen at the top of the list for Will Chamberlain, but Barack Obama says, there was a way we used to do things in this country. What are your thoughts? Sounds like Will, I think you might be muted on. We're going to give you the opportunity.
I am muted. I am so sorry.
Brad is so happy that
I was
it's
going
you.
to say that Barack Obama's presidency just looks worse and worse and worse as the years go on. I mean, you think about what were the signature policies. Well, there was the Obamacare, which is now looking awful. Everybody's healthcare insurance is crazy expensive, and that's with the benefit of these enormous subsidies that the Democrats are trying to preserve with another $1.5 trillion of spending, and everybody's sitting around wondering, why is my health insurance suck? I mean, I can't be the only person, especially if you're not employed and you buy it on the individual marketplace, just what a terrible value it is.
Yeah.
And thanks Obama for that. And then the Iran deal, well, that was a complete waste of billions of dollars. President Trump demonstrated that Iran was a paper tiger, and you wonder maybe Obama should have taken out the nuclear program instead of handing a few $100 billion to people who hate us and use that to fund all sorts of jihadism throughout the Middle East. Maybe that was really bad policy, and we didn't need to take Iran as seriously as Obama wanted to. Race relations completely degraded. I saw a chart today where prior to when Obama was elected, something like 70% of the country thought race relations were good. By the end of his 2 terms in office, it was 25 or 30%. This is the era of Trayvon Martin, of George Zimmerman, of Michael Brown, that shooting, which, the Obama played into the whole narrative that it was hands up, don't shoot. In reality, the guy had attacked a cop
20 minutes from where I'm sitting right now,
robbing a convenient store.
Yep.
Right. You're familiar with that in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. We were kind of ground zero for a lot of the Black Lives Matter thing seemed to really take off after that. And, our St. Louis Rams that year, now the LA Rams, of course, but came out of the tunnel with their hands. Like, the relationship between St. Louis and the NFL is super complicated because while the NFL was screwing St. Louis over in that regard, the St. Louis Rams decided to go along with that narrative. That's how popular it was that an NFL team in their own city would come out against their own police officers and law enforcement right here and turn their backs. Like, you want to talk about the cultural basement of feeling like you lived in a safe environment. You're 100% right on that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole Obama era, I think, will be looked back on as, a really things having gone, obviously there was the 2008 financial crisis, but of not really recovering out of that as a culture and being much worse off. And then that leading to the rise of Trump. And Trump really eviscerating his legacy and making him look like a clown, relatively speaking, when it comes to foreign policy. I mean, Obama achieved nothing on the scale of what President Trump just achieved in the Middle East. So I really don't want to hear from Barack Obama anymore. I'm not interested in hearing about what his ideas are. I saw he actually posted a clip where he's talking about strengthening democracy in Poland and Hungary, two conservative Christian countries. You replace our democracy with our liberal hegemony, and you start understanding exactly what he means. And I think that, the world has had quite enough of Barack Obama's political meddling. It's time for him to retire. And enjoy his children and grandchildren if they're having any.
Yeah, I completely agree. You mentioned Obamacare. It's really the signature result of the Obama presidency. And when I hear Affordable Care Act, I can't help but think of Inflation Reduction Act and wonder if we should have been on to the Democrats by then. There's a lot of words, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of spin, and there's a lot of agenda-driven media, but there is no substance that stands the test of time. Now we have the Trump administration, who not even 9 months into the second term has achieved, for the moment, peace in the Middle East by way of mediation with all of these. It's not like he came in and strong-armed the whole thing, although Iran might have had a little bit to do with that. But the people who are willing partners to get this done, the necessary partners to get this done, this president does things. He doesn't just say things. And I'm wondering, how quick can the country forget about the results of actually doing things and dabble back again in what the Democrats have had to offer, which is just substanceless words?
It's interesting. I had a post the other day where, I was just a throwaway post because obviously this healthcare spending stuff came up as a result of the shutdown discussions. This is what Democrats are fighting for is, $1.5 trillion and Obamacare subsidies that were authorized during COVID. And I was saying to myself, man, the healthcare insurance industry is completely broken. And everybody, I'm paying a huge amount for health insurance monthly, and it covers barely anything. It's there to cover me. It's essentially a massively expensive catastrophic plan where it'll cover me if something really, really bad goes wrong. But otherwise, I'm paying $1,300 a month just to get in the door, at which case I'm still paying the normal rate for healthcare. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way. And I didn't expect that tweet to go viral. Normally I'm I have a good feeling for when I'm actually talking about something that is salient to people. And this one just surprised me. It got 20,000 likes. And I'm thinking there's a lot of people who are really frustrated with it. And I think people are wise. It's not that people on our side are thinking, oh man, we just need these subsidies. Oh man, we need to go the left's way on healthcare. It's no, they're not happy about how expensive things are. And they know who's at fault. They know it's the Democrats' fault here. So there may be a lot more appetite for sort of revisiting Obamacare now than there was maybe a decade ago or in 2016 when people were angry, but they didn't really understand how much it had screwed up the health insurance system. And so I could see a world, Congress might just want to go for a straight up repeal, just straight up repeal it, go back to the healthcare system back as it was in 2008. Maybe there's some pre-existing conditions issues that have to be fixed with future legislation, but whatever, the whole entire superstructure of Obamacare is a mess. It's ruined. It's driven up the cost of healthcare enormously for every normal person. And it just can't be right. It can't be the right answer. We know that now.
And if you have a law and order president who's reinstated some sense of respect for law and order in a lot of these places where people just thought it's a lost cause. I live in the state of Illinois. I know how that goes. Work downtown St. Louis. Know how that goes. You've got these blue-driven areas, and law and order is something that speaks to people across any sort of partisan divide. Healthcare is as unifying as, for like you're saying, of people who are just disgusted with the system. Nobody likes health insurance companies. Nobody loves the plan that they're on. Everybody's paying outrageous prices for it. And I think you're exactly right that could be the next obvious thing across partisan lines to unify the party, to keep things going in the right direction. President Obama said in that clip, in that podcast, we want our court system and our DOJ and FBI to be playing things straight. So that reminds me of a phrase. I've heard it a few times, that no one is above the law. The law speaks for itself. The law applies to everybody applicably. Letitia James gets indicted last week, and it appears as though that this is once again the end of democracy. Does Letitia James deserve to be indicted for the crimes that she's alleged to have been committed?
Yeah, she does. And, I wrote a lengthy post on this where I said that, if we were painting on a clean canvas, it might make sense to let this go. Right. In the same sense, Trump did something similar with Hillary Clinton after he got elected in 2016. He let go the mishandling classified information charges that he could have brought against her. He could have had his DOJ brought. He said, no, bad idea. It's time to reconcile. We want to show honor. She was the other party's presidential candidate. It's not a good thing to do when you're putting the other party's presidential candidate in jail. That's all prudence. And it's about showing the sort of requisite amount of honor for the other side. The idea being that if this is actually a democracy where we're going to have peaceful transfers of power, if we don't honor each other, then we always have to worry that our transfer of power to you is going to be the last one, where you're just going to decide, okay, enough of this. We hate you. We don't think it's legitimate for you to wield power, even if you win an election. There's always that risk of violence. So part of maintaining that honor is not creating a situation where it's a zero, it's like absolute victory or absolute defeat. Like you win an election, you're in power, you lose an election, you get prosecuted and go to jail. We don't want that. That said, they broke the taboo. They opened Pandora's box when they prosecuted President Trump, when they indicted him 4 times in 4 different jurisdictions. So now we need to deter that behavior in the future, because otherwise it will keep happening. The only way to deter it is to prosecute the prosecutable crimes that you find committed by the people responsible for that lawfare. And this is not a novel charge against Letitia James. People get convicted of exactly this species of fraud all across the country every year. You say that you're going to use your property as a second home or as a primary residence, and then you rent it out to tenants. That's mortgage fraud, because you've got a lower rate by lying about your potential use of the property. So, sorry, garden variety fraud. You have no defense. It's really noticeable how people who are complaining about this charge never actually even talk about the underlying substance of the charge. It is so garden variety. It's the same thing that happened with Comey, where the perjury charge was such a garden variety false statement charge. You took an oath to Congress and you lied. Like, duh, the FBI director shouldn't get away with that. You're getting charged for it. You can complain about lawfare all you want, but it's such a completely different world from the novel charges that were being filed against President Trump that were a total stretch. That New York charge, like the falsification of financial records, you never see that brought without a fraud claim, because the idea is that nobody was ever going to rely on these records. It was a subordinate clicking the wrong button in a QuickBooks drop-down menu, and they got 36 felonies out of that. And you don't expect to be charged for garden variety mortgage fraud? Give me a break.
If they would have had the case, exact same details, against Donald Trump, or even maybe like a Don Jr. or an Eric Trump or somebody very close to Donald Trump, if they would have had the exact case against a Republican in the Trump orbit that is being presented against Letitia James, would any of the Democrats have taken the pitch and let it go by?
They would have indicted him. They would have indicted anybody in the Trump circle on that charge. It's a garden variety fraud charge. It would have been the easiest one they've had. They had so many more. Every other prosecution was such a stretch. It was so aggressive.
Yeah.
You think they would have let like a garden variety mortgage fraud case just sit idle? No, they would have prosecuted it. Of course they would have.
And in addition to that, when you're looking at Letitia James, who's the Attorney General of the state of New York, or former FBI Director James Comey, I would think we would want to be holding those elected officials to the highest of standards, that they have an extra burden to be above board, to have no sort of, fraudulent type of activity, or a full and total commitment to the truth, to the American people whom they're supposed to serve. I just don't really see where these people can use these cases and say, this is the end of democracy. It just looks like it's maybe the end of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it really is just, it's really offensive. And obviously, I think you are right that, in particular, something like the FBI director lying to Congress. Well, the FBI director prosecutes people for lying to Congress and investigates people for lying to Congress. So maybe he doesn't get to. He went after Michael Flynn. There was a whole thing about false statements to the FBI director, not even in the context of a perjury declaration. Just, he went after Flynn for false statements in an interview with the White House that he sort of, used some skullduggery to get. He publicly admitted, he's like, in a more organized administration, I wouldn't have been able to send my guys over and have him interview Michael Flynn. Like, yeah, you knew you were doing wrong and you did it anyway. So I have no patience for Comey. Comey decided to make others, hold others to the strictest letter of the law, even and be extremely, extremely aggressive. He can't but expect that the same will be applied to him now that he's not the FBI director anymore.
The amount of fronts that this administration is able to battle on right now is wildly impressive to me. Will, we always thank you for helping us break down the legal side of things. We're really grateful for it. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Talk again soon. Bye-bye. Will Chamberlain is the senior counsel at the Article 3 Project at Will Chamberlain on X, article3project.org. Make sure you go follow him. I appreciate his take quite often in his words on X. All right, let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Among United States presidents, how great is President Donald Trump? America's best president, top 5, top 10, or he's not great at all. We want to hear your comments on this one. So leave us a little thought on the Annie Fry YouTube channel after you vote. Let's see. FR says too early to tell. Well, that's not an option, so forget about that. We're going to see. MAGA says top 5, any better rating is pure fanboyism. So I wonder who your top 5 are, MAGA. You should let us know. And Joe says, yeah, top 10. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel, youtube.com/@AnnieFry. And remember, you can stream 97.1 and the Annie Fry Show anywhere you go on the Odyssey app. We'll be right back. RetirementKey.com is the website. You can go visit and learn about how the Retirement Advisory Group can help you transition into retirement with ease, with peace of mind, with comfort, and with excitement. I think endings are kind of hard. You get done working and you love the people you work with, but you're ready for the next thing. You got to get through it. So that transition time, while it's filled with a lot of emotions, it also has to be filled with a lot of sense. You have to sense in both ways, I suppose. Is that a homophone? Is that the one that sounds like was spelled different? I think so. Sense is in dollars you've worked really hard to save, and sense is in common sense, and even some less than common sense that the Retirement Advisory Group can provide for you to help you feel comfortable in that transition into retirement, to make sure that your money's going to last the rest of your lifetime, that you're going to be able to travel, to be able to go see the grandkids, to be able to maybe buy the vacation home or the boat or whatever it might be. The Retirement Advisory Group is there to make sure that you have that confidence and give you all the tips and tricks that you need. And it starts with a phone call to 314-993-9494. Find them online at retirementkey.com.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next-door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat Did you say tree?
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Among U.S. presidents, how great is President Donald Trump? We got 4 options here for you. He's America's best president. He's top 5. He's top 10. Or he's not great. We want you to vote in that poll. And if you say like something like top 5, jump on the chat. Tell us your top 5. But anyway, vote in Annie's YouTube poll. Vote in the poll and leave us an answer telling us why you voted the way you voted. It is 12:38. This time check is brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Real talk, today's issues. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You're glowing, you color and fracture the light. You can't help but shine. And I know that you carry the world on your back, but look at you tonight. The lights, your face.
I believe it's Tuesday night for Charlie Kirk, a friend of mine, a friend of all of ours, a friend of a lot of the people right here. And we're giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor you get outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor. One's military, one's civilian, but it's the greatest honor. And Erica, his beautiful wife, is going to be here, and a lot of people are going to be here. So, it's not easy for me to get back. It's a very quick trip, but I'll be making 2 major stops, and then I'll be on the plane trying to get back in time for Charlie. They're going to have a great celebration at the White House, in the East Room of the White House.
President Trump speaking last week after the negotiations had been announced and the peace was a matter of getting over to the Middle East to help make it visually a very big thing so that the world would be on notice. I think he was successful in doing that. Today is Charlie Kirk's birthday, and I was seeing. Did you see the Time magazine, Ethan, photo that had Donald Trump, and the shot was from underneath Donald Trump's chin, so it's like looking up. Makes Donald Trump look very big, not in a way that Donald Trump would be complaining about. It just makes him look tall.
I have not seen it,
Okay.
but I want to say that I heard them commenting about it on Kilmeade.
So yeah, Time is basically acknowledging that Trump has done something enormous here. And
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it up here on the YouTube live while I'm talking here. I'm working my way through this. But the the photo is like not really one that I would expect Donald Trump to see and like. And he's already commented on this photo and been like, it's the worst picture ever of me. And it is a terrible picture of him. If you look, you can see his hair is like swooped around over his head, but it's backlit by the sun. I'm pretty sure that the sun is probably, when this photo was taken, the sun is behind his head, because you can tell by the glow, unless it's just an editing thing, but you can tell by the glow that he's kind of radiating here. But you can't see the left half of his face. You can't see his hair on the top, so he looks bald. And, they took this picture. They knew this was a bad picture, and they used it. His triumph. That's what the headline is, his triumph. And then it says, the leader Israel needed, how Gaza heals. So they've got his triumph is a story, I'm sure, in Time, kind of from an American perspective. The leader Israel needed from what appears to be, I could be totally, well, I usually am an idiot. But the leader Israel needed looks like an Israeli perspective. And then how Gaza heals looks to be like a Gazan Palestinian type of perspective. This photograph is a shot from Time. Is it not? Is there any doubt in your mind that when they pick this photo, they're like, he's going to hate it, let's use it?
They're just far too much of professionals for them to not look at this picture and say, "Ooh, that's a good picture." Right? Hold on, I got to make sure I'm saying this the right way. Right? They're way too professional to be saying this is a good picture, because it's clearly not.
The people at Time know what a good picture is,
yes,
and they know what a bad picture is.
Correct,
and they know this is a bad picture.
They shouldn't be working for Time magazine of all places if they can't decipher the two. And clearly, this is not a good picture. So it makes you wonder. It certainly does.
I know And I don't want to be like bombastic about these things. Like, there's no way that they didn't put this picture on there knowing that it was a bad picture. But the thing is, here's the thing, folks. It doesn't matter anymore. Donald Trump is winning, but he is winning from the bottom up, not from the top down. Well, you know what Time Magazine does? Time Magazine, overinflates the importance of people like Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. Not the importance of the people. They were very important people, but the importance of the things that they've done. Remember last week when I highlighted, because it was a 16 years since Barack Obama got his Nobel Peace Prize award, and off the top of my head, it was like for facilitating conversations about peace among peoples. And he hadn't been in the office of the presidency for a year.
But he was nice to those international people.
Peoples.
Forgive me. Peoples.
You gotta count all of them.
All of them. Not just the people, the peoples.
I thought about this. The Time Magazine cover got me thinking, too, especially on a day like today. Because you have Donald Trump hustling his presidential tuchus back to the United States of America so that he can award the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
Mm-hmm.
Honor is military. The Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously to Charlie Kirk. Erica Kirk will be there to receive it. And it doesn't matter. I don't even know where you go to, like, hold a Time Magazine in my hand. Time Magazine's influence on my life is when they do something stupid enough for it to make it into my conservative timeline feed. But when you're highlighting Men of the Year, Person of the Year, I was thinking it was Charlie Kirk, hands down. I think that Charlie Kirk's assassination is a pivotal point in our timeline of history where we were headed one way and all of a sudden there was a fork in the road that appeared, and it gave people who were headed in one definite direction the opportunity to say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go that direction anymore. I'm going to change my direction and go this way. And it's not just like, I'm going to vote Republican now, although I think some of that has happened. The cultural implication, the weight of Charlie Kirk's life, the life that Charlie Kirk led, is what carries on and continues on. The death was an exclamation point on his life, but the life is the substance. And he's going to be honored today because today would have been his 32nd birthday, 32. And I'm thinking, the Time Magazine comes up, and the only reason why I really want to bring it up is because I'm thinking, what's gonna take Charlie Kirk off being, the Person of the Year for all of these Persons of the Year awards? And if, come the end of the year, when these things are officially decided, peace is still marching in the direction it's marching right now, I almost think of their stories being so intertwined that they're inseparable. I don't think Donald Trump's the president without Charlie Kirk. And I don't think Charlie Kirk gets to share his message the way he did without Donald Trump. Most literally, because the people who had the levers of power in the executive branch of our government before Donald Trump shut people like Charlie Kirk up, took away their First Amendment rights because they were wrong thinkers. That happened. That really happened in this country. And talking to Will Chamberlain before about the Barack Obama administration and understanding how close we have been in our country recently to what tyranny actually is. You got people saying like the indictment of Letitia James is the end of democracy. We have ended democracy so many times in the last 10 years.
Wait, we still have democracy?
No, technically. I hate to break it to you.
Okay.
It is a republic. I should play this again because my daughter knows this. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Amen.
Of the United States of America and to the
democracy.
I will schedule a session with Ethan and Molly.
Spaceballs and
to the republic.
Pledge of Allegiance learning.
To the republic, for which it stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Democracy.
That's the Molly version, and we will not correct it. And then that prayer, I'd never heard that before. She said, gosh, I have to remember it. To the republic, nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Annie reciting.
And I know, but I got to go into the prayer
She's
the way Molly
processing.
does
No,
it.
I'm just narrating. I'm narrating what's happening right now. She's thinking.
Something about Jesus, something every day to show my love in my own way. Help me, Jesus, every day to show your love in my own way.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know. I had to get it right. I kind of butchered it on the way there.
How old is she?
4. Hey, folks, Lutheran schools, let me tell you.
John comments and says, bring in Hans von Spakovsky to teach Molly and Ethan. What do you think about that?
I think Molly's pretty much on board. It's Ethan I'm
Just
worried
Ethan?
about.
All right. Hans, come fix.
Yeah. I mean, we're 5 weeks from, what is today, the 14th? Not quite 5 weeks from Charlie Kirk's death. Doesn't seem like time moves that quickly, and then you blink, and then it has. But the things that are happening in our country and in our world right now are so big. They're so big, and there's so much more to come. You got to stay locked in, and you got to stay grounded in what really matters, and that's where Charlie Kirk comes in. The Charlie Kirk mentality that was a faith first. The fact that think about being that podcaster. Not fail. If I don't know who it was. Think about being that podcaster. Said, "How do you want to be remembered?" How many times have we heard the clip in the last 5 weeks? I want to be remembered for my faith. Courage for my faith.
One of the most important questions and answers, maybe the most, of 2025, because in a time where, despite him being documented publicly thousands of times, it's so easy for the world to portray and mix their own message of who was this person, who was that person, who was Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk, I'm not sure how far out that was recorded before his death, but he paints the picture right there of what the most important thing was.
Clearly, unequivocally, he knew. All right, let's take a quick break. Ryan is out today, and Ethan is in for Ryan, and we're going to do Wiggins America Ethan version next. Don't go away.
Reached out into our hearts and pulled us to our feet now. You know the truth is we could disappear anywhere as long as I got you there.
TheDinnemoreGroup.com. Please consider reaching out to Tammy, Zach, Pat, Abby, and Trisha if you are looking to list your home this year. The Dinnamore Group are the #1 team and the #1 office in the Metro East. They are wonderful people. That really matters, but they are very good at what they do. In the Metro East, in Missouri, alike, if you are looking to list your home, have a conversation with the Dinnamore Group, 618-531-4652, 618-531-4652. That's the number to call and talk to the Dinnamore Group team. They have an extensive access to information about the communities you might want to move into or the communities you currently live into, the things that potential buyers find to be attractive, that they want to know, and they can position your home, stage your home, photograph your home for a quick and top dollar sale. You've got the right people on your team when you hire the Dinnamore Group, and all you got to do is call them at 618-531-4652, 618-531-4652, thedinnemoregroup.com.
25 years of 97.1 in St. Louis.
Hey, it's Dana Lash. Congratulations to 97.1 FM Talk on 25 years, the station where I got my start. Here's to the next 25 years.
Make the most of fall and have an outdoor space that you actually love that's built to last. Lakeside Renovation and Design builds custom decks, screened-in porches, covered patios, and they use these durable, low-maintenance materials like composite decking and aluminum railings. They're going to make sure you have the perfect setup so you can host your family and friends for backyard barbecues or just sit outside and enjoy the morning coffee even when it's raining. Don't wait until the spring to start planning the space that you want to enjoy next year. Start with a free consultation. Visit lakesiderd.com, lakesiderd.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Remember when they used to ask,
What do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Live, local, and conservative. It's the Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
Wiggins!
Oh! Wiggins! Not Wiggins America. Ethan's America.
Hi.
Ethan's America.
It's funny.
The people couldn't hear the death stare I was giving you.
I could. That's why I
If
didn't
you're
look at you.
on the YouTube live chat poll, you certainly could.
You've got volume in your facial expressions like a woman.
I know. I'm pretty good at that, aren't I? I fill this chair out pretty well, don't I?
Ryan never uses his facial expressions. He uses all of his words.
Yeah,
He
he's got a lot of
speaks
them.
before his face says anything. My face speaks before my words speak. His is the opposite.
So today, while it is technically Ethan's America, I like to think of this as almost a remix version of Annie, Are You Okay?
Okay.
And the reason being is that I have a list here. It is a list of crazy parenting rules that certain individuals grew up with in their homes, just random, found them on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go through this list. And as a parent, I want to hear if you think, okay, that's just absolutely ridiculous,
So
or if you think there's
asking-
actual reasoning to it.
You're asking my thought as a mom.
Correct.
Me as a mom. Okay.
Correct. Does that make sense? Did
Yep.
I explain that well?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go.
Because I've been a daughter and a mom.
Okay.
We'll stick with the mom part.
And let me just preface, some of these are really silly, but some of them I think you could actually make an argument, like, or at least say, okay, I could see where they are coming from. The first one, no turning on the lights during thunderstorms.
Excuse me, what? Why?
I have no reason. What do you, maybe some sort of fear or concern with electric. This sounds like something that would happen in like the 1940s.
We don't take showers during thunderstorms.
Why?
Like water conducts electricity.
Mm-hmm. See, I didn't even know that.
Wow, you've been living on the edge.
Okay, so that one was obviously a silly one. The next one.
Turn the dang lights off when you leave a room. Move on. That's different.
Is that an issue in your home?
It's an issue in every home.
Is it more of an issue with your son or your daughters? Or do you
Hard
not
to
notice
tell.
a correlation?
Hard to tell.
I feel like it was always a bigger issue for me than it was
Yeah.
my sisters. The next one, no wearing clothing with faces on them. So this would mean Mickey Mouse. This would mean your favorite music artist, either plain T-shirts with no graphics on them, or it had to be something not alive, like a soccer ball or
One
a
of
pumpkin.
the Lutheran school rules that I grew up with when I went to Lutheran schools, and I believe is still in effect, I don't know how much it's enforced, is that you can't wear any sort of band of any kind T-shirts
Really?
to school. And it's just my understanding of the interpretation, the spirit of that law is they don't want to police that's a good band, that's not a good band. You can wear that, but you can't wear that. So
That
it's
makes sense.
don't wear it.
No, that's
that
fair.
plus cigarettes and alcohol. We used to have to be told in the 90s, like, don't wear advertisements for cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah, times have changed.
Had to drink a huge glass of milk every morning as a kid because the parents believed it would make them grow tall. The problem was that this person says they were lactose intolerant, so
Oh,
it
no.
made for really rough mornings. But drinking milk in general.
I'm a fan. We buy Fairlife milk. I just said yesterday, like, why haven't we been buying Fairlife? I think it's because groceries are so freaking expensive. But I'm huge on protein in the morning, and milk can be a source of that if it's hard to get in. But like, I quit buying cereal, I quit whatever. So calcium, vitamin D or whatever, sure. But protein in the morning, it makes you feel fuller longer.
No stepping on the bath mat with wet feet.
Oh, I hate that so much. I haven't made it a rule, but the question is, why not?
To not step on the bath mat with wet feet?
Dry off in the shower.
What's the point of the bath mat?
To keep your feet warm.
No, that is not the point.
In your house, maybe, but in my
So you
house,
don't slip.
I am going to
If
tell
you can
people
dry your feet off.
the new rule before I say, "Hi, how was your day today?" when I pick them up from school.
That one seems a little bit silly, in my opinion.
Wait until you have kids and they track water everywhere.
Okay, maybe.
Everywhere.
Maybe. But that's the point of a bath mat.
It doesn't stop at the bath mat. That's also part of the problem. You got a few more of these?
I do.
We might revisit later
Okay.
in the show. All right, keep it right here. We're going to speak to Jim Carafano about world peace next. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Please consider hiring Matt Hayes for the foundation repair that you are handling or thinking about handling at home or even business. They do residential, they do commercial as well. If you're experiencing bowing in walls in your basement, or even like maybe if you've got like a, what's that called? What is it called? Slab. Not the slab. Crawl space. That's what I was thinking. Your house is a little bit off the ground, and you notice some of the walls seem to be tipping a little bit or shearing. You want to have Home Shield Foundation Repair come look at it. And that's really what the initial phone call to 314-227-9636. All you're really getting yourself into is inviting Home Shield Foundation Repair to come out and look at the possible repair of your foundation. Business, commercial, alike. If your church is having issues, you need to hire somebody you can trust. And I'm telling you right now, Matt Hayes is a great guy, a local family-owned business. Come out and see what you need to have done. Communicate with you and give you an estimate. 314-227-9636, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
2 begins now. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's part of a post from President Trump a short time ago on the Middle East, also writing that a big burden has been lifted with yesterday's Hamas release of all remaining living hostages from Gaza. Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv.
We're also beginning to learn some of the conditions that these hostages had to endure for the past 2 years as they begin their road to recovery. One sentiment we are hearing over and over again from the freed hostages is gratitude. The gratitude they feel towards the negotiators, Israeli and American, who helped to get them free, towards the Israeli people who came out on the streets week after week to show their support, and to the Israeli soldiers who fought a war for 2 years to set them free.
But President Trump says the job is not done. Of the 28 hostages believed to be dead, 4 bodies have been released so far. The Associated Press reporting that an Israeli military agency is calling that a violation of the ceasefire agreement and reducing aid into Gaza as a result. President Trump just confirming another deadly U.S. strike on a suspected drug boat in the waters off Venezuela, the 5th one overall, as some in Congress question whether the strikes are legal. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro calls it a just outcome as the man who firebombed the governor's mansion is sentenced to decades in prison.
Cody Balmer pleads guilty in Harrisburg to attempted murder, arson, terrorism, and other charges in the April attack, in which he snuck onto the grounds of the governor's mansion and inside of it, setting fire. Prosecutors say he also planned to beat Governor Josh Shapiro with a sledgehammer.
He was able to penetrate the residence right up to a door that led to the hallway where we were in our private living quarters.
The motive, according to court documents, the Jewish governor's position on the war in Gaza.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Balmer is sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our high temperatures continue to run above average for this time of year by a good 10-plus degrees, partly to mostly sunny skies. Just not feeling like the middle of October should. 82 for the high. Get used to that one. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 61 for the low. Wednesday, sunny and 82. Thursday, sunny and 82. Scattered showers Friday and Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new furnace, get Carrier Cool Cash rebates and 0% financing so you'll be nice and cozy as the weather turns. For a free estimate on a new heating system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement we've just signed, those prayers of millions have finally been answered. As you know, the hostages have been returned, and further work goes on having to do with the, sadly to say, bodies. Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now we're there.
And now we're there. President Trump speaking yesterday about the peace deal. And, you know, as I mentioned before, the flanking of world leaders on each side of him, wildly impressive to see all of this take place. And to know that this was something that was really planned and thrown together in a short amount of time. And for the president to be back now, he's at the White House right now, and he's hosting the president of Argentina. And we're going to look into that if we can't connect to Jim Carafano here in just a second. But paying attention to what world peace, you know, well, not world peace, but at least peace in the Middle East. He's still working on other portions of the world. That he's been working on this very hard, but also to know here, one of the things that I think is not talked about enough, the accolades for the president specifically that isn't talked about enough are the people who he has put in place to get the jobs that he has said that he would do done, to make it so that the things that they promised in the campaign could be taken care of. The things that were committed that he said he was going to do, he's been able to manifest these things into reality because he has the right people in position to do all of these things all at the same time. Here is Mike Pompeo talking about the instance.
Rich, my history would suggest that it's going to be the hard way. These folks will not grow quietly. There's a reason they consider themselves a resistance. They believe with all their heart that the Jewish people's homeland is not properly located in the nation of Israel. We all know that's just a fraud and a lie. It is their homeland. And so I'm guessing that there will still be coercion that will have to be applied, but make no mistake about it. Israel has the upper hand militarily and diplomatically. The Egyptians and the Lebanese all can see that it's in their best interest if Hamas disarms and Hezbollah disarms as well. The Iranians no longer have the capacity to threaten the world with their nuclear weapons. All the pressure that has been applied against Hamas will deliver an outcome which, whether through coercion or voluntarily or somewhere in between, they're going to have to fundamentally reshape what takes place there, and hopefully we can rebuild life for the people that live in Gaza.
There is former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo talking about the gravity of that situation. We saw President Obama. He spoke on the issue, and President Obama did not mention Trump, correct? He was one that left out. President Biden did mention Trump in his X post that he put out there. It's been kind of interesting and curious to see. There have been a lot of people who are in the Biden administration talking about how they really set the tone for this moment to happen. And you think to yourself, okay, well, that's kind of salty. how we get to this point where peace is happening and the Biden administration people are stepping in and making sure that their fingerprints are identified on the peace plan. But I credit Joe Biden for having put out Donald Trump to say that. Hillary Clinton as well. Here's Kamala Harris.
When this airs, President Trump will be on his way to the Middle East. They have this deal between Israel and Palestine. Both former Secretaries of State Hillary Clinton and Antony Blinken have commended President Trump for the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Do you agree with them? Should he be commended?
Look, I don't think that we should hold in credit where it's due. I mean, first of all, let me say about that deal, I really do hope it becomes real and that the hostages are out, that Gaza is no longer being treated with such brutality of force, that aid goes in. And I commend the people who have been a part of this process. I'd commend the Qataris, the Egyptians, and the president.
And the president. So former Vice President Kamala Harris, candidate who lost to Donald Trump in the last election, obviously. She doesn't say Trump, but she does say she commends the president. And that counts. That counts for people who, what we're going to see here is people who are going to, the amount of people willing to double down, triple, quadruple down on Trump as Hitler. Every day that goes by, there's just a few people who can stomach the idea of being that delusional publicly. Day after day after day. Now, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to change people's minds on Donald Trump, but do you remember how loud the clarion call was for everybody to just understand how evil Donald Trump was? From the very beginning, they manufactured, they manifested this boogeyman idea of who Donald Trump was, and everybody put their hands in the middle. And they said, Orange Man bad on 3. 1, 2, 3, Orange Man bad. And then they perpetuated that every single day from that first moment. And it was in the primary, Donald Trump, it was very interesting to see where Donald Trump started to get traction because people loved Donald Trump when he first got in the initial primary. In that very crowded field of Republicans full of big Republican names, Marco Rubio was my horse in that race. And boy, I feel vindicated that he's been a good one from having backed him then. Very reluctant to support Donald Trump, but in every day and twice on Sundays would I support Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton in a general election, and I'm very proud that I did. But I had to back into that one because everybody who I supported eventually was out of the race, and Donald Trump was the option that I had in front of me. And he's earned the support and respect from so many people over the course of the time, up against the wildest of odds. And you're seeing it from different networks. You're seeing it from different people in the Democrat Party, high-profile figures. Here's ABC's James Longman reporting on yesterday's news.
I think today what I've been mostly struck by is Donald Trump's sheer force of personality. There are not many men, not many leaders who can walk into the Knesset in Israel to such rapturous applause, such a warm welcome, to clearly know so many members of the Israeli leadership so personally. He's been in the weeds on this, and then less than an hour later, appear in a room of world leaders, Arab and Muslim leaders, and have the same kind of warm welcome. It really is his force of nature which has managed to make this happen. I mean, I was struck that he was standing on that stage here in Sharm el-Sheikh, welcoming world leader after world leader, many of whom he's had his disagreements with, as we know. And it wasn't President Sisi of Egypt doing that. It was him. He is front and center here. His force of will, he has said what he wants to happen. He's laid out this 20-point plan. The objectives are very clear. And of course, the big question is how we get there.
So you're listening to ABC reporting on this process and how successful this process has been and how willing people are to acknowledge the success of it. And walking into that room and seeing people on both sides of the issue very, very excited to welcome him into the conversation. I mean, this is an incredible moment. Here's Alyssa Farah from The View, and this is from this. I don't have a date on this, but there's Christmas up, so it must
January.
January, Christmas. January?
Yeah, early January.
Okay, so Christmas is still happening. Hanukkah's still happening. I see the menorah. Here's
My point when I say I'm not going to be apocalyptic, it's not changing a tune. It's not making every single thing a 5-alarm fire.
Yeah.
If he does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you
Please
for
don't do
doing
that.
it.
Yeah.
I know she'll knock it right off my head. But like
don't do that.
you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoing.
Well,
So you listen to Alyssa Fair there on The View, and she's very clearly suggesting that, okay, when good things happen, we need to be able to acknowledge it. And we're seeing Kamala Harris acknowledge credit to the president. We've seen Hillary Clinton do that. Barack Obama has acknowledged the deal, not really acknowledged the president specifically by name. But in the midst of all of this, it does appear as though for the time we do have a peace that is unprecedented in the Middle East. Let's get to our guest. Jim Carafano joins us, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, it's always a pleasure to have you here, a special pleasure to have you today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's nice to be in America for a change.
Well, we love having you home, too, as well. I don't want to couch the question that I ask you and pin you down too much. Talk to us about your thoughts on yesterday, on the peace deal, and what we can expect next.
Well, so actually, yesterday a New York Post came out and said, hey, can you write what's next on this, which I thought was really interesting because, there's truism, and I know it's true because I made it up, is, the next war doesn't start because of how the last war ended, right? The Second World didn't start because the peace for Versailles was bad. It's what's done in the ensuing year which determines if there's war or peace. So this will only usher in peace depending on what we do after.
I'm going to put Jim Carafano on hold and see if we can get a better connection, Ethan, if you can, with him. I really want to hear what he said. Or we can call him back and we can do it in the next segment if he's got 2 or 3 minutes that he can wait. I definitely want to bring his thoughts to you, and I want to make sure that we can understand it. Jim Carafano is one of the number one guests. Jim Carafano, Jim Talent, among other people. So grateful to have those great connections here on the Annie Fry Show. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we might reconnect there with Jim Carafano and ensure that we have a clear connection, because I know you want to hear what he has to say as much as I do. We'll be right back.
So big and so strong. Come a little bit closer. I'm all alone.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. If you visit their website, you're going to be able to read a lot of reviews that have come from people just like you here in the St. Louis Metro East area who have hired Michael's Flooring Outlet to come and do the job, to get the flooring replaced, to get the new flooring installed. And there's not many things you can do that are going to have as big of an upgrade and impact on your home as a renovation of that flooring. Carpeting, if you like the Mohawk Smart Strand, you want something that's got a superior performance, that has the all-pet way of letting your pets live happily in your home, and if an oopsie happens, it's easy to clean up. The hardwood floor, the luxury vinyl plank, the Techwood Plus line of flooring. You've been thinking about these brands, but you want to make sure you're getting good quality and good value. Well, may I introduce you to Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've got 3 locations in St. Louis that you can go visit in person, in St. Charles County, in West County, also in Darting Prairie. But if you want to learn more about them, including a request for an estimate, a free estimate, you can do that right there from the website, including reading their Google reviews. Just go to igotfloored.com.
The team at Ricken Financial want to help you make educated and informed decisions about your retirement strategies.
Why not rely on individuals who can optimize your thinking and optimize your plan and optimize all the resources and show you what's all available to be able to make a truly informed decision?
Call Ricken Financial today, 314-207-6211, or online at rickenfinancial.com, and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sunday at 1 p.m. here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
No need to get technical on heating and cooling. We all want our houses to cool, correct? When it's heating season, we want them to heat, correct? There's not much more to it than that, but I can give you some pointers and tips on the efficiencies, meaning the efficiencies of your house. What you can do to make your house more efficient, and then deciding on what system to purchase, therefore maximizing every single dollar you spent for a furnace and air conditioner. Not spending maximum dollars on a furnace and air conditioner because you're told of an efficiency rating, and that's it. So again, a common sense approach. When you start getting prices for new furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, the only number, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, welcome back. We're sorry about that with Jim Carafano before. We wanted to get a good connection because I've been waiting to talk to Jim about what's going on in the Middle East since it happened, and I'm glad that we are able to have him here. We're going to try this again. Jim Carafano, of course, the senior counselor to the president, and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, sorry about that. Thanks for hanging on with us.
We're uphill now, so maybe that'll make a difference.
Much better. Much better. What can you tell us about, you were talking about that question about what happens next. Take it from there.
Right. No, I was just saying the number one threat to a successful reconstruction of Gaza is not Hamas, because Israelis will just kill those guys if they get out of line. It is bad actors wanting the project to fail from outside, kind of throwing gasoline on the fire. So that'll be something that the administration will really have to watch out for. And either, if you think back right to Iraq and Afghanistan, the reason why those things were so tortured and belabored was because we never did anything about the Iranians. So we were trying to reconstruct Iraq, but the Iranians were just trying to make us fail, and we never did anything about it. Same thing, the Taliban were coming out of Pakistan and continuing harassing us in Afghanistan. So if you want the reconstruction, you've got to isolate it from external bad actors. And so that'll be a challenge the administration will have to deal with.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano right now. I really wanted to know what your interpretation would be of how Russia and China both are viewing this moment, because there are quite a few countries, big countries represented, that came together to help broker this peace, mediated and led by Donald Trump, of course, but it took a lot of parties to agree and to pursue peace. Right. China and Russia, they were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, this is really a blow to both of them. First of all, they both sided with the wrong side, right? Russia actually had very good relations with Israel, and the Chinese were investing in Israeli ports. And then they both sided with Hamas, and they're dead to Israel. And now, of course, they're completely marginalized here. So it's a big blow to both of them in terms of the expansion of their influence and power in the Middle East. The power brokers in the Middle East today are the United States and Israel, but the Russians won't be happy with that. The Chinese won't be. Iran won't be. And so the U.S. is going to have to watch it. And the president has this is not an easy thing. He has to walk the line. First of all, most of the work's actually going to be done by friends and allies. So he has to keep that coalition together and keep them focused on getting the job done. That's going to take time and leadership.
Yeah.
The other thing is we can't afford to be like jumping in there with, if things start to go south, we're not going to put a big military thing in there. So we can't get deeply engaged militarily. And look, we can't afford to pay for this, right? Other people are going to have to step up and do this. So it's not an easy path forward, but the payoff on this for the United States, and this is, I think, what people don't get, is so freaking massive. I mean, literally we take whole parts of the world off the table from Islamist extremism, from Chinese meddling, from Russian meddling, secure supply chains, energy, cooperation with allies. I mean, it will make if this works, it'll make our life so much easier. So my fingers are crossed. And if I'm a betting guy, I'm putting $10 down on Trump on this one.
Jim Carafano speaking with us right now. It does seem as though President Trump has been the catalyst to get this done. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Does something like this happen without Donald Trump's initiative? We've heard people from the Biden administration. Oh, we just lost him. I was just going to ask him if Biden gets any credit for this. Call me back, Jim. If he calls back, he's calling back right now. This is complicated, but this is worth it because this is the guy you want to talk to in this moment. All right, Ethan, put him on hold. I'm putting him back on the air. You got him? There he is. Jim, we really want to talk to you today.
Yeah, what you said.
I wanted to ask you, I've seen Biden administration people say, this is so great to see the plan, President Biden, that you started getting in place come to fruition. How much of this is Trump?
I thought it was an SNL skit. I didn't think that was seriously something that somebody from the Biden administration would actually try to gaslight America and pretend that this is really the Biden plan, right? None of this would have happened without Trump. Nobody else had a plan to end this. As a matter of fact, all our friends and allies were saying, well, let's just recognize a two-state solution, even though there's no state to recognize. This one is all Trump. There was just a peace deal with Azerbaijan and Armenia, and I think in fairness, they just wanted Trump to bless the deal, right? They were going to make a peace deal anyway. But this is 100% pure Donald Trump. It would not have happened without him.
Can it stay in place without him? In 2028, we'll elect a new president, and if he goes away and the mentality shifts directly away from where the MAGA, America First, or whatever we want to call the Trump doctrine, is this peace deal in peril?
Well, look, I mean, this is the thing is I think he's got 3 years. If we aren't on a pathway forward in 3 years, the project's going to fail. So the next U.S. president's either going to inherit a success or they're going to inherit a situation which isn't working. So the bad people around the world are not going to sit by and just let Donald Trump get away with this if they can prevent it. And so Trump has to get success in place before people can come after this and pick it apart. And I think he's got about 3 years to do that.
Can I take you, before we let you go, to a different area of the world that we don't talk about very much, but Venezuela specifically? That story seems to pop up. A lot of drug running that is talked about, the instability of the government there. I don't 100% even know what question to ask you other than what's up with Venezuela?
Well, I think that the president's patience with Venezuela is completely over. I mean, there was some people who said, hey, look, we can deal with this guy and, get him on board. And I think that's proven not happening. Now, the question is, does the United States specifically engineer the overthrow of the Maduro government, or they just make his life completely miserable? And then, maybe he collapses of his own weight. My guess is the U.S. isn't in the business of doing regime change, but we are just going to make his life completely miserable as long as he's alive. And the government, it might collapse. We got to be concerned about letting the bad guys get too close. The Venezuelans, the Cubans, the Bolivians, well, they just had to change the government in Bolivia, so hopefully things get better there. But these people are deeply in bed with the Iranians, with the Russians, with the Chinese. Once we figured out that maybe having China buy farmland next to military bases was such a great idea, I think maybe we got, letting them root in, right next door to us in the country isn't such a great idea either. So I think we're just going to keep up an enormous amount of heavy pressure on the Venezuelans.
Well, Jim,
and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you for the time today. Sorry about the difficulties, but it's always worth it to speak to you. We appreciate you.
Right. Awesome to be talking to you.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Jim Carafano, the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. On X at JJ Carafano. Go give him a follow and a hi and a hello. All right, let's take a quick break. Joe Concha joins us next, a Fox News contributor and a syndicated columnist. You're going to want to check out Joe Concha, his latest book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. Whenever we see these stacking up of victories by Donald Trump, I'm like, gosh, dang it, Joe Concha's going to have to write another book. That's yesterday's news. He's got all this greatness that he's accomplished. He does it so quickly. I wonder what Joe Concha's next book is going to be. Well, his next segment is going to be with us. So don't go away. We'll be right back. AirComfortService.com. I want to remind you to get your heating system checked and to do it with somebody you can trust to give you good information, to keep your system running for a long time so that you don't have to do that costly replacement. Of course, nobody loves an HVAC. It's not like you get to take your HVAC out for a ride. It's just something you need, your comfort zone, especially here in the Midwest. We are approaching that time where we experience all 4 seasons in one day, maybe 48 hours. Now is the time to call 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. And ensure that you get your heating system checked before you are like, oh my gosh, the heating system, we should have checked it. It's not working. Call 314-513-0091 and ask them about their preferred partner plan. Your HVAC system will need routine maintenance just like your car does. With their preferred plan, you're going to get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks twice a year. Discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs. Also, a discount on new equipment plus priority service. So if it gets to be one of those crazy cold winter days and your heating system isn't working, if you're a preferred partner, you're going to go to the top. 314-513-0091, up online at aircomfortservice.com.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you are still healthy and can qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Among U.S. presidents, how great is President Donald Trump? America's best president, top 5, top 10, not great. Vote in the Annie's YouTube poll. Go to youtube.com and search for Annie Fry. You'll see our live stream there. Vote in the poll, and then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. And we might read that comment on air if it's an especially good one. The time is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Your voice, your values. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I noticed on Twitter a lot of our Democratic elected officials are commending what happened yesterday, but they're leaving out the word Trump. You know, it's been several years, Charlie, since Twitter went from 140 characters to 280. They can put five more letters in there, but they just can't. I know.
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Well, Joe Concha, I'm so glad to talk to you today. Author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. Are you writing a new book? Can you even talk about that? I don't know. I should have checked with you first. But like the books write themselves these days, don't they?
They do, and I am writing a new book, and I actually was just working on a chapter before. It's a working title, basically 99 Americans we could all do without.
Oh, just 99?
I know, I had to condense it. But, I mean, there are just so many to choose from. I mean, I honestly, like in one afternoon, just taking a hike, like put together the whole 99. Like it didn't even take much thought. So I appreciate that. It'll be out probably next spring.
Okay. Well, I love it. And, you know, I think about, I've talked a lot about your book. It's a great, I have not talked to Joe about this before I'm giving this promotion of his book, because this is genuine from the heart. When I was in Washington, D.C. and went to the White House at the end of April, I had some time to kill, and I was walking around the mall, and, you know, in the shadow of the Capitol and the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial, and I was listening to you read your book, and it is a historical document. It is so important for people to understand that yesterday, while we were watching President Trump negotiate peace that was basically non-negotiable up until that point.
Oh, yeah.
What we had to go through to get to the moment where we could say President Trump again when he was the active president. Your book is so important for people to remember. But what do you think about the success he's had in less than 9 months in office?
That's the thing. Less than 9 months. This does not feel like a pregnancy. This feels like, you know, like 4 years have gone by since this guy was elected. I mean, every day is just dizzying. And I just can't believe that, like a CNN, for example, they can't even draw like 500,000 viewers in prime time, despite Donald Trump being in office and every day something crazy, you know, or good or both happening. So, yeah, historical document. I appreciate that. I hope you laughed as well. There's several funny anecdotes in that. My wife listened to the book as well. So the audio thing, I guess I have to keep doing because that's the only way I'll get her to read it.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, all 4 of my pregnancies felt each like they were 4 years long.
You have 4 kids, Annie?
I have 4 kids, yeah.
Wow.
Oldest is 15, youngest is 4. My life is
15 and 4.
Full, yes, for sure. But
man,
when I think about what this president is doing, and today I want to partner Donald Trump's successes with Charlie Kirk's birthday and the acknowledgement he's getting today, because the political world seems to be, no pun intended, being made right once again. But Charlie Kirk and what he has done as a parent, I'm talking about as a mom now, what he has done to give our American culture hope going forward, just by being willing to say some basic truths out loud that have been shamed into just being quiet. Most people, I still think, have a common sense about them, but Charlie Kirk made it okay to be different than what the left screams you have to be. It's such a pivotal moment in time. I know you've got kids that are kind of similar in age to mine. How do you reflect on all of this as a dad?
Wow. What a great question. Charlie's going to get the Medal of Freedom at 4:00 today at the White House in honor of, obviously, 31 years. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who packed a lot in the 31 years, particularly since he was 18 and started Turning Point USA and guided by his faith. And, you know, you look at like any silver lining like of this horrific execution that we witnessed in September, and that is that more than 140,000 chapter requests now for Turning Point USA throughout the country. So, you know, I had to explain to my kids what happened because I was on the air a lot, obviously, during that week. I can't say I was like good friends with Charlie because like he's in Arizona, I'm in New Jersey. We'd run into each other at Fox News green rooms at the Republican, National Convention, that sort of thing. So obviously we were cordial, friendly, had some great conversations, but I can't say like, oh, I was close to Charlie or anything like that. But I just feel for Erica so much that, her little 3-year-old daughter, said, when's daddy coming home? And she says, well, he's on a work trip with Jesus right now. Like, what else do you say? So I don't quite know how to answer your question, Annie. I think just in the end, I just tell my kids, just, show respect for people the way you'd want to be respected, and always be open to different ideas and debate. And that's what Charlie was. He called people up at his rallies to debate him. The ones that disagree with him the most, those were the folks that he wanted to talk to first. So he embraced the First Amendment completely. And then obviously, I mean, being shot in the neck the way he was, in the throat. I mean, that was just so typical of the violence that we're seeing primarily from the left. I don't want to make this political, but all I know is Donald Trump was nearly assassinated twice. Charlie Kirk was executed, and we see what happened with Tesla dealerships and the like.
Yeah.
This is what the left does. They don't want to debate. They want to destroy. And I just hate the direction this country is going in, because it only feels like it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you got to be attuned to what's going on, politically. It seems as though as the people who are willing to kind of just even peek around the corner, like Donald Trump keeps doing good things and winning and really following through. None of this should be a surprise. Donald Trump gave us a list of things he wanted to do when he became president, and he's blowing through that list of things that he wants to do. He told us this is what's going to happen. And I think people are realizing that maybe he's not as scary as they've made him out to be. But at the same time, those people who are still clinging bitterly to this idea that he's the orange man baddest, they seem to be getting angrier and angrier and louder, even though I do believe that they are becoming fewer.
No, I agree with you on that. And it's funny because on the book that you mentioned, The Greatest Comeback Ever, I went with the picture of Donald Trump at McDonald's, right, waving goodbye at a drive-thru. And when I showed the president, when the book first, like the cover was completed, I was at Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve, and I said, oh, by the way, the cover just came out like yesterday, and I'd love to show it to you. And he's like, wow. He goes, I bet that they told you to go with the assassination photo with the blood on my face. I go, well, yeah, they did. But I thought like this was more indicative of the campaign, because they try to paint you as this fascist, Nazi, Hitler kind of guy, but at last check, Adolf probably didn't work the drive-through at McDonald's, right? Like, in other words,
serving French fries.
Yeah, serving French fries, right, and waving and smiling. Like, he defies the caricature every time. He's this billionaire, but yet he's totally relatable. He's a funny guy. So yeah, I think in the end, we're just imagine if Kamala Harris was president. Let's put it that way, because you see this book tour going on, and it's worse than you could possibly imagine in terms of it being a train wreck. Imagine her running the country right now. She wouldn't run it. It would be all these faceless people that ran Biden. It would be the same thing with Kamala. So yeah, we literally dodged a bullet with Donald Trump being reelected again. And all I know is that he's doing exactly what he said he would do. And some people may disagree with it, but I'm sorry. I like a closed border. I like the fact that we have a country now that puts America first again. And overall, I know the tariff thing, it's going to be shaky for a while, but in the end, I think it's going to be ultimately good. So here we are, and Donald Trump said something like 48% approval, which in this modern time is pretty high.
Yeah.
You can't hard to get above 50 anymore. Rasmussen has him at 51. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Do you still grade President Trump? You look at the polls and stuff. Do you still kind of grade him on a curve? These polls don't generally they never lean Trump. They never err on the side of Trump, of course. Do you still have a curve for him when you read all these different numbers?
Add 5 points. Yeah, it's always add 5 points. It was during the campaign, and now it is here. The fact that he achieved peace in Gaza, where you even have Stephen Colbert kind of sort of praising him, MSNBC, Washington Post. He's exceeding expectations, I think, in many people's minds. And again, what is the Democrats' alternative? Like, who are you going to run? You're going to run AOC, right? She's an adolescent, right, that plays on TikTok a lot. Like, that's your candidate? Or is it Gavin Newsom, who obviously just whatever way the wind is blowing, he will say whatever it takes to be elected. He's not authentic. So, yeah, I think J.D. Vance is very well set up in 2028. A Vance-Rubio ticket would be very formidable. And I'd be very curious to see who the Democrats end up nominating. But if it's Gavin Newsom and you want the country to be like California, all right, roll the dice, take your chances. I'm pretty sure no one wants that.
Yeah, they're leaving California in droves. I want to ask you about New Jersey, because I know you're from there. We're watching these races in these years get a lot more national attention than, I live in Illinois. J.B. Pritzker is running for a third term He says no kings too. Think that's kind of funny. Chitterelli is, I saw within it was like 4 points out, which might be in the margin of error, but I heard on Outnumbered today that in the last election, did Chitterelli run last time? Is this his second time?
He did.
So
he ran 4 years ago and lost by 2 points when people thought he would lose by 15, 16.
So his polling, he actually did 5 points better. You just said, add 5 points to Donald Trump. On Outnumbered, They said today that he actually finished 5 points better than he was polling. So that would put him in a razor-thin lead right now in New Jersey. Can he pull off this governor race and a Republican be the governor of New Jersey?
Absolutely. I think that is definitely a possibility. You look at Joe Biden won, New Jersey by 16 points in 2020. And then Kamala Harris won by about 5 in 2024. That's an 11-point difference. I think in the end that Jack Chitterelli has all the momentum right now because Mikey Sherrill, who's the Democrat, she's like a Memdani. She's almost a communist in terms of all the things she wants. She wants girls playing against boys in sports. She can't explain, and again, this goes across party lines. She made $7 million in the stock market 3 years after being elected into Congress, where she was on the Armed Services Committee and was trading in defense stocks like Raytheon and Honeywell, and I could go down to General Dynamics. And so she can't explain that. She didn't walk with her class during her graduation at the Naval Academy because of a cheating scandal, yet she refuses to release her disciplinary transcript as far as why did that happen exactly. So overall, she's for raising taxes, women playing against men in sports, and I think New Jersey, I think we've had enough. I mean, you talk about like moving out of New York. U-Haul is going to run out of trucks in terms of people moving out of New Jersey for places like Tennessee and Texas and Georgia and Florida, because those are just better places to live based on the taxes alone. So I think that Jack has a really good shot here, and he's a common sense guy, authentic. That's the thing. And Mikey Sherrill right now, she was up by 20 points in June, and now that's been basically completely erased. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, Annie.
And every vote counts. Does Donald Trump, does he make a trip to New Jersey, does that help a point? Does it hurt a point?
I wonder, right? Because he hasn't come here at this point. So you wonder if it's like a Glenn Youngkin kind of situation where Youngkin won in Virginia despite Trump not campaigning with him.
Right.
So you wonder, like, will that energize the other side, or will that help Jack Chitterelli? Trump has endorsed him, so that's good for Jack. But at the same time, campaigning with him, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's the type of thing like, look, let's not rock the boat. We could win this thing right now. And it's weird because Trump is, the sitting president and is very popular in New Jersey, I would think. But maybe they think, okay, let's not give the other side some sort of talking point to go with there, Annie.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And it looks like Jack is well on his way to a potentially strong finish. So we will watch. Everybody's paying attention. Joe Concha, we always appreciate you. Thanks for being with us today.
4 kids. Your husband, the super sperm. Good for him. I mean, that's very, very impressive.
Yes, let's please commend my husband in the bearing of 4 children here.
Yes.
He's going to love to hear this. He's going to be rolling. We'll talk to you again
Tell him
soon.
I said hi.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Eddie. Bye.
I might. I'll see how that goes. Super sperm. Okay. Wait till someone's going to text that. I think I might be turning a little red here right now. Wait until someone texts my husband about that, and they'll probably just text him that word. And he's going to go, oh, gosh, what happened? What happened? I don't know. Joe Concha happened. You can't contain that, man. Get his book. Seriously, think about it. Get his book for a Christmas gift for your Trump fan out there. It is, I refer to it as a historical document because it is an accounting of things that I covered day to day while all of this was going on right here on the Annie Fry Show, right here on the Fox News radio affiliate in St. Louis, 97.1 FM Talk. And as he was telling the story from each and everything that happened during that campaign, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's right. And I was remembering all of these things. And you're like reading this book going, oh my gosh, how's this going to end? Well, we know the ending, but he walks you all the way up to it. And it is quite something. The book is called The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign, and you can get it now. Highly recommend. And as he said, it's got the McDonald's drive-thru photo on it, so it displays wonderfully in your home or in your office. If you're like one of those troublemakers, just get that book up just to put in the back of your office just for people to walk by. You could be that person. All right, let's take a quick break. The YouTube poll want to remind you to go vote among U.S. presidents. How great is President Donald Trump? America's best president. Top 5, top 10, or he's not great at all, Annie. What are you talking about? Go vote at youtube.com/@AnnieFry. We'll be right back.
What you know, Joe? Ain't I having But you know, Joe,
I ain't fooling, I need schooling, I don't know, I don't know.
Point Pest Control, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. If you need to get rid of those creepy crawlies that are in your house, I know it's October, but who wants spiders in their house? I do not, which is why I called Point Pest Control 2 Novembers ago, and I'm very grateful that I did. I subscribe to their quarterly plan. It's a premier service plan. They come out to my house quarterly and treat the home. They just did it last week, and we can very much so enjoy a bug-free home. And if we see bugs in the midst of it, we call them, and they come out and treat for whatever it is that we saw. And we really haven't had to do that. We had to do it one time in the 2+ years that we have been with them. If you mention my name as well, you're going to get an extra 10% discount on the top of other specials. Ants, spiders, crickets, mice, whatever you have. I swear that the stink bugs, is that what they're called? Stink bugs? I always say that I think they're CIA spies, because they're like in your house and they're not there, and then they're there and they stare at you and they're like, what are you going to do about it? They're just listening. Or maybe they're just bugs and you need to get rid of them because they're creepy as heck. Where do they come from? 636-798-0023. That's 636-798-0023. Stare right back at that stink bug and say, Point Pest Control is coming. And they're gonna have their little legs. They're going to be shaking. PointPestControl.com.
Join us October 23rd at Lit Cigar Lounge and celebrate 25 years with drinks from Lore Wine and Spirits, Old Dominic Distillery, and Rayburn Wines, plus live music by Pretty Weeds and food from Napoli Bros. Reservations at 971talk.com. Presented by Rhino Shield and U.S. Men's Medical Center.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more.
A family member or friend that gets paid weekly. This Medicaid program is available to eligible St. Louis residents.
New to Medicaid? The Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area,
this service is available through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid weekly. So go to freedomcare.com now, or for faster service, call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Now, back to the Annie Fry Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, Ryan's not here today. He's got the day off. He is with his family. So Ethan's sitting in that chair, so I think I want to poke a little fun at you.
Uh-oh. Why?
What did you
What did I do?
What did you Google before the show started? We were talking about something.
I don't remember. What did I Google?
We were talking about
I
something.
Google lots of things.
And you kind of stopped participating in the conversation and locked into your computer. I go, are you
yeah.
Googling?
It was a lady, redheaded.
You Googled a lady's name.
Famous actress.
No!
Singer.
Yes.
Singer. Redheaded.
Reba McEntire.
Reba McEntire.
I said Reba, and he didn't. There's a spot that had her voice on it, and
Yeah.
I commented, "Oh, that's Reba McEntire," and then he disengaged from the conversation with me and locked into his computer. I go, "Are you Googling Reba McEntire?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, she's the actress."
That gave me arthritis.
She was. When you look her up, it says American singer and actress.
Yeah.
And
now,
what do I I've heard of Reba the show. She was in Charlotte's Web. I love that movie when I was a kid. Young Sheldon, The Voice.
Reba the flamethrower.
I would recognize her more from the movies she's been in.
What movies?
Than I just said Charlotte's Web. Probably.
That's it?
Charlotte's Web, Young Sheldon,
No.
and I've heard of Reba. And I probably would I know any of her music as a non-country fan?
Here's your one chance, fancy, don't let me down.
You should go into country music. But no.
Why? So you cannot know who I am? And
Jeez.
what was the one you said before the show?
The night the lights went out in Georgia.
Man, I feel like a woman. That one.
In Georgia. No, that's
No?
Shania
Oh,
Twain.
man. Oh,
who, if you
man.
see Shania Twain today, will have no resemblance to Shania Twain of.
Shania Twain's the one that does the Sunday Night Football anthem, right?
I don't
You
have,
miss Ryan yet?
I just say I don't have the ability to fire you. You do not work for me.
Kind of.
But this is not working for me. Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, I had never heard of Reba McEntire.
I
Well,
just
okay.
thought,
Hold on.
Reba's a one-word name person.
Wait a second. Let me correct that.
Timothy reminds us Reba was in Tremors. Correct.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
really?
gosh.
I said because I was like,
Tremors?
you noticed that I was looking
Yes.
up something, and I said I just had to connect name to face. The name sounded familiar. The face looked very familiar.
Reba's name sounded familiar.
I was born in 2000.
It's like there's other Rebas
That's my
out
excuse.
there.
I'm trying to think of who is big enough right now. Like Reba in country music.
Was she pretty famous?
She's as big as it gets. Like she is on the of all the people who are as big as it gets. Like you can say Dolly, you can say Reba, and everybody.
She's on Dolly's level?
I don't know. I think they're a little bit of a different time. Dolly's a little bit older than Reba, but in different generations, yes.
Well, I Googled most famous country singers
There's
of all
no
time.
Reba land, but
She was on the list, but she was a little low on the list.
Who?
She was in 9th on the list. Reba.
you Googled what?
Most famous country singers of all time.
Give us the top 10.
How do you say it? Is it Merle Haggard?
Merle, yeah.
Garth Brooks, Loretta Lynn.
Merle. Haggard.
I have a history of mispronouncing words on this show.
Merle Haggard.
Garth Brooks, Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, George Strait, Willie Nelson, and Reba McEntire.
Well, I feel vindicated that she is in the top 10 of
This was
all-time country singers. And none of the ones that you've just said there are current.
There's 42 more if you want me to keep going.
Well, I got like 30 seconds. We are not in the business of just filling time on this show. What
Not
are you
once.
talking about?
Never once has that happened.
Timothy says Reba is really close to Dolly level. Like, I don't know if anybody is. Quick Rick says nobody's on Dolly level. Correct. I understand it. But
Frank also says Merle is the GOAT.
it's Merle. Pay attention. He's a refined individual. I apologize to everybody that's listening on Ethan's behalf, of course. X's and Y's in the next segment or next hour. Don't go away.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Home Shield Foundation Repair, 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. That's the number to call Matt Hayes. And Home Shield Foundation Repair, residentially, commercially, if you've got foundation concerns, it could mean you've got a wet basement. It could mean that you've got structural concerns that are, you've noticed maybe over time or maybe rapidly have really decided that they're going to push a little bit more in. You've seen the bowing of walls and I got to fix this before it gets out of hand. You might have a much bigger problem on your hands if you don't. Just call Matt Hayes and have him come out and look at your situation. If you call 314-227-9636, Matt's going to come out and see what you're dealing with and be able to talk you through what your options are. And maybe if there is nothing that needs to be fixed and everything is still structurally sound, you're going to get the honest truth from Matt Hayes, certainly. But if you need to get the job done, you want to go with Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-227-9636, homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A warning to Hamas. I'm Lisa Brady. Fox News delivered a short time ago at the White House.
If they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games.
President Trump just telling reporters Hamas said they would disarm under a peace plan that led to the release of remaining living hostages from Gaza yesterday under Phase 1 of the deal. The president posting earlier that Phase 2 begins now.
And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes. You say
because everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm.
He is also calling out Hamas for the release so far of just 4 bodies of 28 hostages believed to be dead. There are reports of an Israeli military agency reducing aid in Gaza because of that. The president's comments coming during an Oval Office meeting with Argentina's president, saying trade is on the agenda and suggesting U.S. aid to the country could dry up if the president loses re-election, criticizing his opponent as part of a far-left movement. The president also suggesting Argentina tread carefully on trade with China.
I don't think you should be doing business much with. You can do some trade, but you certainly shouldn't be doing beyond that. You certainly shouldn't be doing anything having to do with the military with China. And if that's what's happening, I'd be very upset about that.
An hour from now, the president is set to posthumously award the Medal of Freedom to conservative activist Charlie Kirk on what would have been his 32nd birthday. On Capitol Hill,
millions of people are going to lose health care coverage. That's why we're in this fight.
Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey, as Democrats push Republicans to negotiate on health care issues. Republicans say Democrats must first vote to end a government shutdown. Now on day 14, the Senate is set to vote on a Republican House-passed short-term spending bill and a Democrat counterproposal again today. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising.
higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Our high temperatures continue to run above average for this time of year by a good 10-plus degrees, partly to mostly sunny skies. Just not feeling like the middle of October should. 82 for the high. Get used to that one. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 61 for the low. Wednesday, sunny and 82. Thursday, sunny and 82. Scattered showers Friday and Friday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, we're happy you're here with us on a Tuesday afternoon. Ryan is with his family today. He'll be back tomorrow. We'll all be back here together on Wednesday. So keep coming back. And also another reminder that you can stream the station anywhere, anytime on the Odyssey app. AUDACY, download it. Follow 97.1 FM Talk right there, the Annie Fry Show. You can follow it as well. And stay connected to St. Louis's Fox News Radio affiliate here in the city. We always are grateful for each and every one of you who listen to the station and participate. We've got a party coming up on a week from Thursday. Is that correct? It's a week from Thursday, and regular tickets are still available. VIP are sold out. 971talk.com/events if you would like to have more information on that. And I'm talking about all the different ways you can listen to us. We love meeting you. We don't get to do any of this without you. You are the star of the show. And so if you'd like to come out and hang out, I'd love to see you a week from Thursday. Go to 971talk.com/events and come hang out at the 25th anniversary party. That's crazy. That's really crazy. I've been here at 97.1 since 2009. I think I got hired I interviewed at late 2008, and I got hired, I think, in January of 2009. And I worked one day in February so that the pay would come out of my paycheck for my health insurance, so I'd have no lapse in health insurance, something like that. So I've been here for 16 years, going on 17, going on 17. And it's just been an incredible ride. And I think about, it's weird to be at my age of 41. It's weird to be now somebody, I was joking with Ethan before because I mentioned Reba and he had to Google who Reba was. There are a few things happening in my life right now at 41 years old that and I don't know when you all experience this if you're advanced in age from where I am, but there are a couple things that have happened lately where I realize that I'm not as young in my surroundings as I feel that I am. Like I'm the most experienced at being the young one. and that's all you ever have is being the most experienced at, what you've done, which is being young. And then I guess you get old and then you're like, how the heck do I do this? I've never done this before. And it's a challenge. Now, I'm not saying at 41 years old that I am old, but I was at a volleyball tournament over the weekend. It was one that we hosted, and it was an incredible tournament. It was the first time that this tournament had been hosted, and it was just done so impeccably well. And it seemed like everything went great, but I really enjoy watching sports at the youth level, specifically because I like to see, because there's so much growth that can take place. Like one weekend at a tournament for kids, there's so much growth that can take place, and it's really kind of in your own hands as a team to determine like what direction you decide to grow, because it can go bad, it can go well. It sounds like I'm talking about like the play, the development, the evolution of a team and their ability to play sports, but that has really nothing to do with it, which is why I find it very interesting. I studied psychology as a minor in college, so I've always been very interested in people and the way that they are, especially why they are the way that they are, like what makes them tick, what makes them succeed, what pushes people to be emotional, what pushes people to compete. And the important thing to understand is that in all of those instances, like every individual person is very different. And you can see that over the course of a weekend where we had 6 volleyball matches that we played in I don't know, probably like 60 hours total. And you just have the opportunity to grow. You have the opportunity to succeed, but it's kind of up to you to decide what you want to do. And I think it's, for me, a very good way to remind myself that if you put 6 girls on the floor, now I'm talking middle school girls, the level of competition was fantastic. Shout out to Zion Lutheran School in Harvester for winning the championship of the 16-team tournament. It's fun to watch people overperform and over excel. And it's really tragic to watch people underperform and under succeed. And I find myself always asking myself, why did they overperform? Why did they underperform? You can apply that kind of study of people to pretty much anything. You can do it to, if you're in your work environment, you can apply it to the people who seem to always really like bring the sale home, or to really exceed expectations and whatever it might be. It can be maybe if, I've got 4 kids, I can motivate all 4 of my kids to get something done, but I have to treat each of the 4 kids like the individuals that they are. There's not a blanket way to handle any of my kids and to motivate them. But at the end of the day, like at a volleyball tournament, you can see everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to win. You also understand that in a volleyball tournament, everybody who comes in, especially like 16 teams like this, if you're a different kind of tournament, baseball, soccer, whatever it might be, the teams don't go in with the same set of skills. You can't reasonably have the same set of expectations. You got to manage expectations a little bit. And then you got to try to figure out like what would real success look like here, and how do you meet the success that is achievable for you, and then maybe aim a little bit further past where that line is. So if you can overachieve, that would be great. If you shoot to overachieve, you might fall among where success still exists. I think about our culture, and I think about like what expectations are being set on children in our culture today. What expectations are being put on parents today? What expectations are being put on households and families today? And there just really hasn't been, and I'm a little worried to say this, but in my kids' lifetime, there really hasn't been a strong emphasis on family. Now, my son, as I was talking with Joe Concha about my kids a little bit, that my son is 15, and so I've been a parent for 15, almost 16 years. And I don't really feel like my whole life that the world was really emphasizing go out there, get married to somebody, like save yourself for one person, marry that person who you love, give yourself to that person should give themselves to you. You should come together in marriage. You should build a home. You should grow a family. Money will come how you need it. Those blessings will provide themselves along the way, but really focus on building that family unit. I did that. I was married at 23, which is crazy. I think about the 23-year-olds in my life, and, they're just not really running down that path, so it seems like they're not ready. They could be. We were. I was probably ready before 23, but, But yeah, at 23, married. Charlie was born when I was 25. First kid at 25, and then I had Molly in 2021, which would have made me 37 or something like that, 38. And there was never a time where my husband and I were trying to grow this family, take care of this family, raise this family, where we're like, gosh, this is easy. This is so simple. Like, never a single time where it was simple and comfortable and easy. But I also can't think of a single fraction of a second where I was like, this was a mistake. Not a blink of a moment where if financial struggles set in, new jobs, lost jobs, all of that stuff, there's not a single time where I thought, you know what, I could have had a wild career. I've got a radio show, that's pretty cool. But I could have been, on a TV set hosting my own news. Like, I threw all that away for this. It's absurd to even say the sentence out loud. My plan, and God, thank you for the blessing of providing me Jared, who I had the same plan, and his family who raised him to be that way, and my family who raised me to be this way, that we found each other. I believe that was a God-ordained match, but it was kind of against the odds that we would come together so young, be willing to go into a marriage that we knew nothing. We were so young. And at 23, a lot of you are listening are like, 23 wasn't young. That's 5 years older than when I got married. But the idea that you'd have 4 kids and start so young, and you're 2 people trying to work, trying to make ends meet. Today's Charlie Kirk's birthday, and he's going to be acknowledged with the Medal of Freedom, honored with the Medal of Freedom in less than 2 hours if they're on time. And there's this like radical idea that he brought to the table to say, Brad, can you rattle it off the way he would say, get married? Is that the first one?
Yeah. Well, I think it is go to church, get married, raise a family. I forget what the last one was.
Yeah, it's something like build a future or something that you can pass down. But I mean, he doesn't say in there vote Republican. He doesn't. Charlie Kirk's message, like I can't get over the way in which God has the ability to seize the greatest sufferings and struggles that we experience, the greatest tragedies that we can't even imagine, and the gift that he gave Charlie Kirk, which truly was patience. Of course, a great cognitive ability, a great processing of information and ability to communicate that Charlie Kirk had. It's exceptional. And I think we knew it was exceptional then, but what my respect for Charlie Kirk since his passing, and really studying even more so what he did, what he gave his time to, and the message that he prioritized. Before Charlie Kirk died, I remember talking about it several times. Like, Charlie Kirk comes up in the algorithm that we would watch on YouTube, and there'd be a good argument that he'd have with somebody, and I loved just having it on in my kids' house. There was no like, kids sit down, it's Charlie Kirk time. I loved having it on in the house because when it was on, that as opposed to the news, it was an exchange of ideas. Respect was given to welcome people who think differently, to present their arguments, and to find common understanding, common agreement on things so that actual productive conversation could ensue without ever getting hateful, but being very fully convicted. And the roots of what Charlie Kirk would talk about always were faith first. How many people have absorbed the full-length message of what Charlie Kirk brought to the table now? That's not to say that his death is preferable at all, but it certainly hasn't been in vain. And there's a part of me that looks at the Charlie Kirk thing as somebody who consumed his content and loved to hear his arguments, and I'm no Charlie Kirk and never would compare myself to him, but I did try to learn from him. I do try to listen to people, When we take phone calls on this show, and I try to listen to people, try to listen to what they're trying to say here. I'm not interested in punching you in the face until you believe what I believe, because that's never productive. It's very bombastic, and it's pretty self-centered. But Charlie Kirk was a father. He was a husband. And there's a part of that I can't shake from reflecting on his life, that the cost of losing Charlie Kirk, like the rewards that are being paid because he documented so much of what conservative culture really is, not politics, but the real substance. Like, policy is what you believe. Politics is how you try to get other people to believe the policies, the what of what you believe. And Charlie Kirk's passing has put maybe the most effective communicator we had and amplified him to a legendary status that I truly believe will be studied for the rest of American history in a way that wouldn't have been the case if he wouldn't have been taken from us. And if I'm Erica Kirk and if I'm in his children, I'm trading that back. I want Charlie back. And I know that we all do. But when you think about President Trump and what he has accomplished in his first 9 months back in office, and if you've studied this enough, you know he may not be the president of the United States today if it weren't for Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. Oh, man. It's a Psalm 46, be still and know that I am God moment, for me, at least. Ethan, Sports and Local next here on the Andy Fry Show. Don't go away. RulerFoods.com, your way to save on your grocery bill. If you need to put more in your pantry, more in your fridge, more in your freezer for less, you need to go to Ruler Foods. Just go on and do it. Go in one time and see the store. If you've driven past it, you've never gone in. Trust me when I say when you get in there, you're going to appreciate the organization, the cleanliness, the presentation inside Ruler Foods. It is well worth the opportunity to stop by and just give it a shot one time. You don't even have to go in, don't go in with that initial time thinking you're going to do your full grocery shopping there. Go in and grab something for lunch, or maybe go check out some of the great savings they have. The stock up on fresh produce, avocado 79 cents each. Love them in our house. We can't get enough of that. Red or white seedless grapes at just $1.79 a pound. We had a conversation in our car about grapes this weekend. Red or white. We all voted white. Kroger butter sticks, 16 ounces, $2.99 with a limit of 4. You can shop smart, you can spend less, and you can save more at Ruler Foods every time you shop there. But you can also go online to find the Ruler Foods closest to you and schedule a delivery. And those savings come directly to your door. Find the details online at rulerfoods.com.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat waves that we received this year, but any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is, in St. Louis, the humidity is not comfortable and our bills do go up. With that being said, we're coming up in the winter months and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace checkups that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, Bart Inman. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on.
And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
Hold up. Check it out. It's Ethan.
Hi, Ethan.
That it is. How we doing, everyone?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Time to give you guys some sports and local. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. There was a delay. I was like, I don't know if she's actually ready for this.
Well, I had to reconfigure.
Okay.
I'm ready though. Now.
Reconfigured?
Yes.
Buckle up. A Missouri judge has approved ballot language for a proposed constitutional amendment that would undo an abortion rights measure approved by voters last November. Last year's constitutional amendment, which was voted on as, if you recall, Amendment 3, huge issue going into the voting, the election last year. With this, it would be repealed under this new proposed amendment. The new ballot question would also be Amendment 3. Amendment 3 was approved 51.6% to 48.4%, a difference of just over 95,000 votes. The new proposed Amendment 3 will ask voters in November of 2026, and I'm going to go through these different stipulations here. Shall the Missouri Constitution be amended to, it says, guarantee women's medical care for emergencies, ectopic pregnancies and miscarriages, ensure women's safety during abortions, ensure parental consent for minors, repeal Article 1, Section 36, which allows abortions for medical emergencies, fetal anomalies, rape, and incest, and prohibit sex change procedures for children.
That's all in one?
Yeah.
Hmm.
A lot of information there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I know I threw that all
That's
at
okay.
you. But it had been, you'd seen things, you'd heard things, on the occasion of recent that they were trying to find a way to get this back on the ballot. So it's not a surprise to see this finally come out. It definitely seems like a win for pro-life supporters.
That seems if it gets through, it seems like initiative petition reform is something that Missouri needs to focus on pretty strongly. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I hear a lot of people complaining about it, but if you live in a democratic republic and you elect people to represent you, and then you do that, and then you have a ballot measure that requires just 50% plus one to change the law back. Isn't it 50% plus one, I think? Or is it, I don't think it's 60%. But the tricks that get pulled in the process of doing that, it's just not it's not simple. It's complicated, and I feel like these things are intentionally complicated so that people can play the game to get what they want in the process of trying to deceive voters to get what they want.
That sounds about right.
So it just frustrates me. Anyway.
One day before the scheduled execution of a Missouri man convicted of killing a state trooper 2 decades ago, Governor Mike Kehoe has announced his decision to deny clemency. Lance Shockley is 48 years old, and he is set to be executed this evening at 6 o'clock for the murder of Missouri State Highway Patrol Trooper Sergeant Carl Dwayne Graham. Graham was found shot to death in his home in southern Missouri in March of 2005. The governor's office said that Shockley shot and killed Graham due to the troopers' investigation into him. Shockley was found guilty of first-degree murder with 3 aggravating factors in 2009, and the Missouri Supreme Court set his execution date this past June. And like I said, requested clemency, and the governor's office basically gave a very firm no, saying that the clemency, granting it would have been unconscionable.
Yeah. I'm death penalty. I'm in favor of the death penalty in the right circumstances.
Started off with a couple of heavy hitters there,
Yeah.
no doubt. We've talked a little bit in the past, I don't know, over the past couple of months about the World Cup coming to the United States in 2026. Kansas City is going to be one of the host cities. They will be playing games there.
Is Kansas City a big soccer city?
Yes. Sporting Kansas City has been one of the bigger.
Is that the name of their team?
That's the name of their team. Yes. Before you make fun of theirs,
I'm not gonna make
we're
fun of it.
St. Louis City.
I think it's great.
But we'd also talked a little
I just
bit
don't
about.
get it. I'm just not in it. If
Oh,
you're
I agree.
if you're
It's just
in
weird.
it, if
It's
you're
weird.
in it, you understand it. I am not in it, and I blame my little brother, whose birthday was yesterday, when he was like 8, and Mom signed him up for YMCA soccer, and it really ruined my Saturday mornings in the fall. And so we would go out and have to be on a cold, rainy soccer field at 8 freaking a.m. on a Saturday to watch him go stand next to the goal and cherry pick 6 goals or something like that. I think they changed the rules after he did that too.
And that's why you don't understand why Sporting KC is named what they are.
In a roundabout way, yes, because I despised soccer from a young age, and it was because soccer was personally offensive to me because it cut into my Saturday morning sleep.
You ever been to a St. Louis City game?
No.
Once they get good again, because that'll happen at some point.
I won't
you
know
should
the
go,
difference, will I?
Because you will know the difference in the
atmosphere.
That first season was fun.
Yeah.
I got to go to a game. It was unbelievable. It was
Why
awesome.
was it good? Why was it good the first season and then not?
That's becoming a pattern, at least in soccer, that there is a level of adjustment that teams have to make when you aren't familiar with the style that a team plays. These expansion drafts and all this stuff are set up for expansion teams to have success immediately, and they didn't used to be like that in a lot of sports. You're seeing it even now in the NHL. A few years ago, the Vegas Golden Knights were in the Stanley Cup final in their first year in the NHL. The Seattle Kraken were in the playoffs in their second year in the NHL. So teams are adjusting.
Kraken
and are
is
able
NHL.
To, yes.
Because you said Seattle Kraken. I'm like, now there's a good name, but
Isn't
it's
that an awesome
hockey.
name?
Of course, it's a good
They
name.
have a great logo and everything. So
Kraken.
teams are able to compete in multiple sports, expansion teams, quicker than ever. So it was awesome, but it wasn't like crazy out of the normal here in recent years. But anyway, we get to the World Cup, and I've mentioned a little bit that I'm curious as to could there potentially be an impact on St. Louis as far as traffic goes, hotel bookings in our city, even though there's going to be games played 4 hours away, and Missouri is expecting this to be the case.
Yeah.
The Missouri Department of Transportation is planning to add a third daily service to the Missouri River Runner train route between St. Louis and Kansas City to assist with the increased travel demand during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The extra service from the River Runner route will begin in April of 26, run through the World Cup matches in June and July of 26. After the World Cup, the service will return to 2 daily trips. The plan is in cooperation between MoDOT, Amtrak, Union Pacific. A final schedule for that route will be finalized by all 3 of those. Kansas City will host 4 group stage matches in the tournament, a round of 32 game on July 3rd, and a quarterfinal on July 11th. And as I mentioned, there is expected to be a lot of traffic on 70. 70 traffic's already terrible right now because they're doing all the construction. It has the potential to be an absolute nightmare.
How long does it take to
come
get
it.
to Kansas City on the train?
That's a good question.
It's a 4-hour drive.
About
coast
yep.
to coast in Missouri, correct?
Yes. I don't know. I'd probably guess a couple of hours. Is 2 hours cutting it in half? Is that?
I don't think it goes that fast.
No.
I mean, 70 is a straight shot. You're driving 70 miles an hour at minimum. I think it would take maybe almost as long. I don't know.
I'm trying to find the
5
answer for you.
5 hours and 40 minutes.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wait,
I don't think
longer?
I don't think it saves you time.
Yeah.
This is not a high-speed rail.
No.
That just seems
It probably goes about 60, 65 miles.
that feels kind of backwards to me.
Well, I mean, you're
Isn't
not
the train supposed to get you there faster? Isn't that the point of
it's
taking
supposed to
it?
get you there without you paying for gas and using your brain. You could take a nap.
Well, I haven't been on a train since I was like 9, so I guess clearly I'm not familiar with the purpose of trains.
2 hours. That's an airplane.
I guess so. Do you want one more?
No, let's go and do X's and Y's. You sticking around for that, right?
I will indeed.
Trish is coming in here. X's and Y's on a Tuesday. How we determine those questions that girls ask boys and boys ask girls, or maybe don't ask, but you always wanted to know. You can leave your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Yes, boys and girls are different, and we're about to discuss how. Don't go away. The Lutheran Elementary School Association, I want you to go check out lisastl.org. That's Lisa with an E, lisastl.org, and consider what a Lutheran education could do for your child. Consider what a Lutheran education could do for your grandchild. If this is something that you could possibly make happen in your family, to offer this opportunity to learn about Jesus every day while you're also learning about math and science and reading and all that, you want to make sure that you have provided these opportunities for your kids. And there are also tuition assistance opportunities available as well. Lutheran schools have special education present in most schools. They support IEPs. They support special needs. They've got 34 elementary schools in the bi-state region. We got to see a lot of them this weekend at this volleyball tournament. They have athletics. They have music. They have robotics in a lot of these different schools. The opportunities are there. We just need you to go check out and find out which Lutheran school in the area might be right for you, for your family, for your kid, for your grandkid. You can learn everything you need to know online. Just visit lisastl.org. That's lisastl.org.
Every week on the Moth Podcast, we share stories that are funny, strange, heartbreaking, and above all, true.
I myself have been married for 56 years. Unfortunately, to 4 different women.
It turns out the people I was looking for all my life is what you people would call nerds.
Follow and listen to The Moth on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you've been injured in a trucking accident in St. Louis, you need attorneys who live here and work here. We know the STL and fight for the STL. You need Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
With this season's drought and high temperatures, demand for new sprinkler system installs is at its peak. Even with a little rain in the forecast, now is the absolute best time to put a new system in place, setting you up for a healthier, greener lawn next year. Don't let your lawn go through another season looking the way it does today. Take control now, and you'll never have to worry about the damage heat and dry weather can cause again. Call 636-695-7800 or visit ProOutdoor.com to schedule your new system installation today.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Among U.S. presidents, how great is President Donald Trump? Is he America's best president? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Or is he not great? We want to know what you think, so jump on Annie's YouTube page, vote in the live chat poll, leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted, and we might read that comment on air. The time right now is 2:36. This time check is brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. X's and Y's.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's X's and Y's times where we talk about boys and girls and why we're different. Do you guys anybody have a question they want to lead off with?
I've got one here from a listener.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Let's do that.
So they did this. I saw this one last week, and this is from a listener named Timothy, and he, I assume, wants to know, do most women appreciate it when a man acts like a gentleman? And then in parentheses, he put opens doors, etc. So not necessarily your husband, just a man in general.
Are they attractive? Just kidding.
It depends on the man.
I would have really appreciated that if you'd have just been a little better looking. No. Yes, I always appreciate it. I always appreciate when anybody holds the door open.
That is
Trisha,
my
you're
response.
a door holder opener.
Yes, I think that kindness and just general manners for both sexes, I appreciate.
I don't. I kind of like. Oh man, I'm afraid. I should Google this. Call the herd. That's like an aggressive way of saying it. But I like to. If I open the door for somebody, or if a man were to open a door for me, and I were to be like, I can do it myself. Don't you want to know that that person is like that, like as soon as possible? And that's a good way to find out.
Yeah, wear that on your sleeve.
Yeah. If you are a woman who is intimidated or offended by a man who is showing you respect. That non-lady, that female does not speak for me. Hold that door open for me every time, and I will smile and thank you and flirt with you.
If your husband, right?
I don't know. How good looking are they?
I might follow up this for Ethan. Have you ever experienced that female that Annie was just describing to you, where you held the door and you caught attitude for it?
Not that I can think of, but, I didn't go to a big liberal college either, so...
And you also usually slam the door in ladies' faces.
That's true.
Do you profile women before you hold the door open for them?
Only all the time.
And then he slams the door in my face.
I will. Let me counter or follow up here, Trisha. Mansplaining. So, like, men who want to do something kind by holding the door open. I think that there are some men who also do things out of an intention to be kind or gentlemanly that most women interpret as, I think, mansplaining. I think that's where that comes in here. Like, men who want to jump. I think there are men who mansplain who think that they're doing something nice, who are actually doing something that might, in their mind, be the equivalent of saying, I can do the door myself. Does that make sense?
Mm-mm.
Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Are you saying that there are men out there that mansplain with good intentions, but they're actually being offensive?
I'm definitely saying that. And I'm saying that that there are men who would open the door for a woman because it's a gentlemanly thing to do. And there are women who would be offended by that. And then there are men who would jump in the place of a woman, like to over-explain something, or who would just assume that you wouldn't know anything about something, so they over-explain, who would think that a woman who would feel mansplained to, in that instance, they would have the same feeling towards that instance as they would the person who is like, I will open my own door, thank you. That to a man, I think that often could feel like the same thing. When I think that I don't need to be mansplained to, and I don't. I'm going to be honest.
Like, they're very different. Chivalry and being like a gentleman and opening the door, like most normal, like.
I don't know how
women.
you mansplain door open. Like, I don't know how that ever crosses the line into mansplaining. But
we're okay with that.
Yes,
but we don't need you to over-explain whatever the thing is we didn't ask you about.
Yes, and I think for a lot of men that the intention might be good in both instances, but be received very differently by the same female. And the man might be like, I was just trying to help. And a woman could differentiate between the two and feel very respected in one and disrespected in the other.
Yeah. Yes, I'm with you now.
Are you, Ethan? Let me explain it one more time for you. I'll talk slowly.
I don't appreciate this, honey. This is disrespectful to me. Should be treating the male species better than this.
Do you get it? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I understand.
Ethan, do you think you've ever mansplained?
Probably. Not intentionally. I can't think of a situation intentionally where I have, but I'm sure there has been a point in my life. I was at one point a young, dumb high schooler that I probably unintentionally did.
that's young mansplaining. That doesn't count. You're just young.
Not that I'm aware of.
I called my
Following?
husband. I started this week in calling my husband pop-up video. I also call him National Geographic, but that's because I'm super dumb in that regard. My kids will be like, "What type of bird is that?" And I'm like, "Brown? I don't know."
But is that
Go ask your dad.
But that's different.
That's different. But then there are also things like I'll just say something, and then my husband will give me a random fact about it, and I'm like, I don't care. But I mean, it's like pop-up video, bloop, and then there's a fact. Some of them are useful, but I'm like, why are we doing this? I don't remember that.
Sometimes we'll start on these conversations and I'll have to say, I need less information. Like, I love you and I appreciate it, but I need less information
Like, get
about
to the point?
this specific thing.
Trisha, Chris says mansplaining just seems to happen only when the woman doesn't want an explanation. That's from Chris F.
Well, Chris, that is how it works. We don't want the explanation. That's the definition.
Want or maybe need, because maybe we were there already, but thanks for the help.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe I do need it, but I don't want it. It's still mansplaining.
Brad, have you mansplained?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do you know when you're mansplaining?
Usually about a sentence in. There's like a look or a reaction, and you're like, oh, crap.
Is it the eyes glazing over? Or
What is the thought when you catch yourself mansplaining then? Ethan says that he may be an inadvertent mansplainer.
Yeah, it's kind of like you start to say it, and then you look and you're like, oh, they're not happy with me right now. That was not my intent.
But is it that you're saying something and you think that it's upset the emotional woman?
No.
Or is
it's that
I don't need to be saying the
that
thing
I
I'm
didn't
saying
need
right
to
now?
say it.
Okay.
But like my initial reaction is always, and it's, I don't know, maybe it's a golden retriever mentality. It's like, oh, I can help. And I'm not trying to do anything abnormal or mean or disrespectful. I'm just trying to help. And then it's like, oh, she didn't want my help.
Timothy says my wife hates, in all caps, my wife hates it when, as she says, mansplain while watching TV. Yeah, that's probably a crime.
Can men mansplain to other men?
Yeah.
Depends.
Have you ever been mansplained to, Ethan? By Brad?
Today.
No, I don't think so. But Brad's shaking his head yes.
Well, I don't think it's the same for guys. Like, I know that I've had things explained to me.
Is it because you just assume that they probably know that stuff that you're telling them?
Because we're men.
that they might assume that I don't know something, so I'm putting myself in the explainee instead of the explainer position. And it's
for men?
Yes.
Ouch.
So a guy would tell me something about something that I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing. I understand what I'm doing, but I don't take great offense to it because I'm like, he's just trying to help.
As the explainer to the explainee of the men to the men. No women involved.
No girls allowed.
Thank you. That's exactly how this conversation feels like for me. There are so many different moving pieces, and I'm like just trying to catch
I thought
up.
you were setting up a question.
No,
I'm
like this is how I feel. I'm like, I'm trying to catch up, and I got there. And
So
now
if
the
you've been
conversation's over.
mansplained to, you probably don't know either.
Probably. Probably.
Trisha, you got a question?
Yeah, speaking of planning out conversations and difficult conversations, do you guys plan out, men and Annie, women, do you guys plan out conversations or possible conversations ahead of social engagements or any kind of social interactions? So you're going to this party and you know these certain people are going to be there. Do you spend any amount of time like, okay, I can talk to them about this, and that?
I've never done this in my life.
No.
Not
No?
once.
You don't do that either?
No.
I do.
Pre-planned convo?
Mm-hmm. Like pre-plan the combos, remember the kids' names, like prep myself for social
It's easy.
situations.
You don't know what the kid's name's sport.
You get online, you do
How's
your
sport
like
doing?
Facebook,
You tussle his hair.
check in, and yeah. I do that all the time.
Would you say you're a social person?
Oh my gosh, she's an incredibly social person.
Yeah, I'm that one where it like comes in spurts though, and then I need to hide for a while and recharge.
That's when she comes and talks to me.
That's when you'll see me in a corner. And I'm like,
I get that.
Just to go back to the mansplaining conversation, Chris says men like to know how things work, so they just assume women like that as well. That's not it. That's not it, Chris.
Seems pretty accurate to me.
We might need that information. We just don't want it. Like, you just don't have to give it to us.
Or maybe we have it before you start explaining it.
But, like, do you have it?
We just
Now
don't
I'm
want
getting
it.
the eyes.
Am I woman-splaining enough with the look on my face?
Oh, you did it very well.
Thank you.
Professional
You
job.
literally hid behind your mic.
Literally, right away.
I need a bigger mic.
Yeah. Ethan, you got a question?
Yeah, why is it so freaking hard for women to choose where to eat? You guys suck at this.
I have the solution for this.
Yeah.
Pick 3 places you wouldn't mind going and ask her to pick one of those. And if she says...
That's way too easy.
If she says, I don't want to go to those, say, okay, you pick 3 and I'll pick from yours.
But then you'll never get anywhere because she won't be able to pick 3 even.
Then starve.
Have you guys seen the internet video where it's like the hack for getting your partner to choose where you
Yes.
go? And they're like, hey, I'm taking you to your favorite place. And
You'll
then
never guess.
like, you'll never guess it. And then the other person is like, oh my gosh, we're going to Chick-fil-A. And they're like, yep, we're going to Chick-fil-A.
What if they pick a really expensive place?
Does that work
Then that's where you go.
twice?
I don't know. Probably not
It
if you
would
put
on-
him in a video about it. But
It would on my wife.
I think that the other thing you could do is just take her out and not make her make the decisions, because I think what men don't understand is that women make decisions all day. Not that men don't, but women, generally speaking, are making a lot of decisions all day. Throw the kids in there, their orchestra.
so many.
What?
That everyone makes decisions though.
I make more decisions in a day on the whole. My husband asks me for input all the time.
He's a hardworking teacher.
I know.
He's having to make all these decisions about if he's gonna
That's
throw
correct.
these kids in
But
detention.
I promise you, Ethan, the amount of thoughts that I'm carrying in my head at one time versus any man in my life is at minimum times 10 at any given moment.
Mm-hmm. I second this.
And so I'm thinking, I'm deciding, and it's like something as inconsequential as like, where do we want to eat? You know, like, I don't eat seafood. Let's not do Captain D's. Pick something else. And then you go from there. Like the physical or the mental toll that, especially when it comes to dinner, if it's, because I bet it's not as hard to pick a place to eat if it's a Saturday and you've had a lazy day.
I would also argue that the dudes probably are thinking a little bit more so about that dinner than the girls are. You know, they're probably
that
more.
means they're hungry.
Yeah,
They're
they wanna
physically,
eat.
yes, they want to eat.
It's time to go.
Which I cannot stress enough. I can't speak for every woman, but I definitely feel like I can speak for most women, that women want to be led and cared for, but ultimately respected, which is why mansplaining sucks, but opening the door for them is something that they will mostly have gratitude for. That if you are like, well, where do you want to eat? You've now put the whole burden on her to decide something, where if you take the initiative and you're willing for her to make an edit on the initiative, if you take the initiative, you're probably closer to an actual decision, which I think at the end of the day is what you want, is a plate of food.
Yes.
If that's the
I just
goal,
wanna eat. I'm
if that's the
hungry.
goal, take the initiative, sweep her off her feet, open the door for her, don't explain what you're doing, and
I'm
take
going-
her to a restaurant she likes.
Honey, I'm going to sweep you off your feet, and then I'm going to give you options for where we would like to go because
Don't give options, just take her.
Just pick one.
I'm going to take you out to dinner and not give you the choice of where you would like to
You'll
eat.
eat here and you will like it, woman.
Am I getting mansplaining down?
That's what
when you
should
get
say.
there, order for her too. Make sure you don't let her make eye contact with the server.
For the record,
order all
What
of
would
it.
you like, ma'am? No.
Jared orders.
I'll
for
tell you
us.
what she's
Jared
ordering.
orders for me all the time.
You guys have been married a long time. He knows what you want. I
Also,
order
if I
for
go
Eddie, too.
if I go to a restaurant, he knows what I get from that
I
restaurant.
should
I'm
do
not
this.
divert.
I should do that as a joke. Be like, she'll have a salad.
No, if you're gonna,
She'd lose her mind.
If you're gonna do it for the first time, don't pick the
She'd
salad.
be really sad though because she hates salad.
That's a no. She'll have a salad. And you're, no,
man.
That's all sorts of wrong. Don't do that. All right, stick around. The results to today's YouTube live chat poll among United States presidents. How great is President Donald Trump? Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
Been about 17. Strong. Play my favorite song.
The Diamond Shop, online at thediamondshop.net. In Clayton, been serving St. Louis since 1910. You got to be doing something right to be, 125 years into serving St. Louis families like mine, generationally speaking. They have what it takes to keep your business coming back again and again. They offer special financing 6 months, same as cash. So if you're looking to buy something and it's going to, maybe cost a few months of installments there, 6 months, same as cash helps you get into that piece of fine jewelry that you've been looking for. And each month they have special sales available to you and a little bit extra often when you become a VIP by going onto their website at thediamondshop.net, filling out a very quick form, and you will see there how you can become a VIP. It's very fast, and the benefits definitely pay off the nothing cost to you to become VIP. They do custom jewelry and watch repair appraisals as well, and they also buy gold. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
25 years of 97.1 in St. Louis. Here's Jimmy Fallon.
Danny Fry, Mark Cox. I mean, you guys have a stacked deck. You got that Jimmy Fallon guy later in the day, but you know what? You drink a little bit at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, you'll get through a show. Congrats on 25 years.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Family focused, faith filled, always on point. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. All right, let's talk about President Trump, who has brokered a sense of peace in the Middle East, and we hope that that sticks and grows and becomes the new exception or the new rule as opposed to the exception. Around the room here, real quick, among U.S. presidents, how great is President Donald Trump? America's best president? Top 5, top 10, or not great? Brad, what are your thoughts?
I have top 5. Earlier in the show, I wrote down all my top presidential ones, and he was number 5, so he's top 5 for me.
Who are the other ones?
Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, and Monroe.
I'd put Reagan in instead of Monroe. I'm top 5.
I would lean top 10, but he's either 5 or 6 with doing the blind ranking of throwing guys that are presidents that are for sure in front of him.
Yeah.
Probably say top 10.
Top 10 is safe.
Yes.
Has
Top 10
time
is
to
safe.
work his way into the top 5.
There's 278 votes on today's YouTube
good
live
one.
chat poll. What did you vote?
Top
5. You voted top 5?
Yeah.
And
Lincoln's the man.
most people did not choose the safe route. 53% said top 5. Only 8% said top 10. 6% said not great. 32% said America's best president. Trump is the GOAT.
85% said top 5 or better. That's pretty incredible.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Keep it right here. The Mark Reardon Show is next, and that honoring of Charlie Kirk, a Medal of Freedom as well. You're in the right place on Fox News Radio, St. Louis affiliate, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Home Shield Foundation Repair. I talk a lot about how Matt Hayes can come and assess your foundation worries and concerns and help you figure out a solution to it. Why choose Home Shield Foundation Repair at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com? Because they have the expertise and the innovation with 25 years of experience that helps make sure that you are going to get a solution that's actually going to fix the problem. They stand by their work with a lifetime warranty on their foundation repair solutions. That ensures that you can trust the long-term security of your home. You're going to make an investment in this repair. You want to make sure that it is going to last. That's why people hire Home Shield Foundation Repair. You can reach out to them by calling 314-227-9636. That's 314-227-9636. Home Shield Foundation Repair has many wonderful reviews that you can read online as well. Learn everything you need to know about how they can help you with your foundation at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.